Hey guys, hi and welcome to this watch through of BVS. So, as we
Director's cut.
promised, yeah, director's cut, we are going to throw ourselves on the couch like my bunny Poohie, so to speak, and we're going to watch BVS. So, we're going to talk, during this whole thing and comment on whatever is happening in the movie, and you can watch with us if you like bring popcorn and all of those things.
Healthy stuff.
Yeah,
Healthy popcorn is there.
actually there is healthy popcorn.
So get this.
It's the one without butter and without
Taste whatsoever.
yeah, exactly, well you can put some sea salt on it. So yeah guys, I'm just going to say, start, and you can sync with us if you like. So, first watch through ever here on my channel. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Yes, because I always wanted to do this. Finally.
Yeah. Okay, so, and play.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Yeah, gentlemen, start your Warner Brothers engines.
Yeah. That pack was actually Snyder's company,
Yeah, this
right?
is,
Or not? Was it?
There was a time above, a time before. There were perfect things. Diamonds.
Man, I miss Ben Affleck.
Things fall.
yeah.
Things on Earth. And what falls is fallen.
Lower the volume.
So that YouTube doesn't say a thing.
Yeah.
Not fair use.
So you can also hear us. Like at the scene with the music, for instance.
By the way, I don't care what people say about how many times you have to watch how the Waynes are dead, well,
Yeah.
this scene here is one of the things that I can always watch.
Yeah, this is made extremely well, actually.
Yeah, the combination with the music and the cover and the music
Yeah,
and the music.
and the music, yeah. The music is extremely dramatic, but it's very beautiful. I don't know if Hans Zimmer did this.
Well, the soundtrack is combination of him and Junkie XL, whatever his name there was.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure about this bit. Was it Zimmer or the other guy? Must be Zimmer.
I'm not sure. Well, the point is that the music is awesome.
Yeah. First time I saw this in the cinema, I kind of whipped a bit. Yeah. The music and the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. I had a lot of chills first time that I ever saw this. A lot of chills.
And actually, I like that I heard a bit after the movie came out. So I heard some people complain that the part in which actually Thomas Wayne is trying to, you see his hand gripping Bruce, which indicates that he's going to try and stop the guy. And some people complained about that.
Really?
And they said it's kind of logical. He's a father. Sure, he's going to try and stop the guy. I mean, because some people say Thomas Wayne is not a badass person. Junkie XL, yes. He's not a badass person and things like that. He's a father in a moment like that. I mean, you kind of become badass person. So
Yeah. What do they mean? Is that a bad person? He's trying to be a good person.
well, a badass person.
Yeah, but he's
Like
not like
he doesn't fight with people and things like that. But you see a guy who is pointing a gun to your son and wife, and of course you're going to try and stop him.
Yeah, you're not gonna be like, oh, I'm such a good guy. Please kill us
Please
now.
kill us. Here, take the puddles and something
Yeah.
else that you want.
Yeah, please just kill it because I'm so good. That's ridiculous. I mean, he's a smart businessman besides that, and he has to have some kind of a backbone as a businessman and as a guy. Otherwise, everybody
And a doctor. He's also a doctor. So he's seen some shit.
No.
He's actually a rich doctor,
Mm.
businessman guy. I don't know how he did it, but originally he's a doctor, and then kind of becomes this businessman.
That's kind of like a plot hole or something.
Well.
Who knows? So is this scene like a metaphor or it's real?
I think whatever you see, Butts and Bruce, it should be a metaphor.
Yeah, especially that part where he lifts into the air.
It's basically it's the moment in which Batman was born.
Yeah.
It's actually that really Batman is born and Bruce Wayne is, let's say, that kind. It is Batman that is the persona and not all that much Bruce. Bruce is more the mask, actually.
Yeah, you can say that because you know Batman expresses himself through
Mhm.
through this persona of Batman, and he just pretends to be Bruce Wayne the rest of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
time.
yeah. But,
It's interesting where he has time to run his company and how he does that exactly.
I think it's because he has shareholders and you know they kind of don't know the things and he's just there to be there.
Well, it's kind of how it looks like.
Yeah, most of the time. And then they just call him like, Bruce, we need more money.
Yeah.
There is actually a book that is like a prehistory before that moment called BVS, which I have. I
Oh,
just
it's
haven't read
like a
it.
comic book or?
No, it's a book.
Ah,
It's
book
like a
book.
novel. It's a small novel, but it shows things that happened after Man Steel and before
Before
BVS.
this. So it's like a little gap between the two events that we see now and the end events of
Yeah.
DBS. Uh-huh.
I have to read it and write a review probably.
This doesn't sound like a bad
So-
idea if it's not that long.
Or we can just, I can read it and just talk about it. Maybe.
Yeah, you can do that.
Even I actually like how they incorporated the things that happen in Metropolis and here.
Yeah, and he is in Metropolis for some reason because he's supposed to be in Gotham.
I think it's maybe because they have buildings there and companies. And,
Yeah. Well, that exact building actually. Oh
Yeah.
no, it was because Metropolis and Gotham are like very close together, something like this.
Sister cities, yes.
Yeah, it's basically like our quarters here in Sofia. Like you
Yeah.
have this quarter and then you have the next one next to it. Something like that, maybe.
So like Sofia and Bansko kind of.
Well, not
It's not so far away.
Maybe Sofia and Bankia.
Yeah. But they do also have companies there in Metropolis. So
Yeah.
I think it shows actually a part that Bruce actually cares about people
Who work for
who
him?
work for him. Yes,
Yeah.
it's not just I give money.
No. He definitely cares.
And man, Ben Affleck never looked better. I mean, that was kind of look that inspired me. Someday I'm going to wear a vest and a shirt like that.
Well, if you have the physique to pull it off, it's gonna look great.
Well, at least it's not going to look like as if you have a belly and some people still wear it. You know?
Oh, that's not, yeah. But when you have a good physique, you see how it's like the V-taper shows. And he's a very big guy, so if he wants, he can make at least 3 times the size and look a lot better even than this.
I'm not sure if he looked like that for Daredevil back in the days.
No, he
I
was
think he
skinnier.
did, right? Because the costume didn't need actually.
Yeah, he was skinnier. I mean, he looked good, but I think that he put on more mass here.
And again, this
This kind
scene
of
shows here that actually
he cares. Although I mean, it doesn't make any sense to go where the building is falling. He's gonna
Well.
do what? And what is this horse doing? It's like, oh yeah, we have also cops with horses in
Yeah.
the city.
And plus, you know, sometimes in comic books they show Batman on horses, and in comic book looks okay because it's
Yeah.
kind of like so. And I think that this is like a small hint. You're not going to see him on a horse in movies. Sorry.
Yeah. And when did those kids get organized so fast? The building just fell.
Well, the power of a good teacher. Although I don't see a teacher. But,
Yeah, she or he is not in panic at all. So I hate this guy.
He kind of reminds me of actually the political correctness today.
Yeah,
Kinda.
he's the voice of.
The voice of reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really do see here that Dos actually cares, and I think that's why he went into the fog, because he is still Batman. Just didn't have time for the costume, and it's daylight.
Yeah, when he cannot let, for instance, this girl die, for no reason. Of course.
It's not going to blow up his cover, If you want to, please, Bruce Wayne, just save the girl.
Yeah, wait for me. I'm just gonna put the costume. But I think that this whole scene is not only to see how he sees Superman, that he sees Superman like some kind of an ass, but it's because a lot of people on the internet started crying that the movie did not address all the damage that was done from the Zod fight. Which, yeah, well, that's kind of what's gonna happen when you have two Krypton guys fighting, and Zod doesn't care how many people he can hurt and the collateral damage of his actions. He's just gonna beat Superman, and Superman just trying to stay in the fight somehow, and be the opposite force.
I mean, it was his first day as Superman, and he had to stop these guys. He doesn't know how to stop all the collateral damage.
Yeah, he's.
But actually, if you watch carefully, Man of Steel, he does stop some of them. And saves some people. I mean, there are scenes in which he actually stops and flying, and he sees people and gets them. Just people need to watch carefully. And if people whine about a superhero movie not addressing all the damage, Avengers.
Yeah, Avengers.
So, I mean, how much damage they made there fighting the Shatarians,
Oh, yeah.
In all those movies, actually, in all the Marvel movies, it always looks as if nothing happened to the city.
Oh, no.
It's all fine.
I'm pretty sure then that what happened in that movie in Avengers did a lot more damage, because we have the huge ships just crashing and
And the freaking Hulk was there.
Yeah, you don't have one superhero there. You have a few, plus the huge ships that look like giant insects, plus the Chitauri.
Yeah.
So excuse me, but I'm pretty sure that half of the city is actually in the ground.
And this is actually really the first movie that showed up. That there is damage. It's kind of normal for Bruce to be kind of like that to Superman, because he sees what happens.
Yeah, he just sees the effect of those two guys fighting. That doesn't mean that Superman does not care about anything.
Yeah.
He just
see what can happen, and thinking, wait, what will happen if this guy actually turns bad? He must be prepared, which he does in the comic books, by the way.
Superman?
Well, yeah, he turns bad in some moments, but no, I mean Batman, that he actually has plans for
everybody,
stopping all the people
from
from the Justice League. So
only for Wonder Woman he wrote well. She doesn't have a weakness or something.
in the comic book, I think he injected her with some nanobots that made her see her enemies, and she had to fight always until she actually eventually get tired.
Oh, yeah. That's very
I don't
brutal.
remember what was in the. I think this was kind of also in the adaptation, the cartoon.
That's very brutal of him.
Oh, there are brutal things there.
Yeah, he's
He
so
did.
cool.
He did made the plan so that he just stabs them, but Alicia Wu in the comic books takes the plans and he makes them a bit
Even
more
worse.
brutal. Yes.
Terrible.
But it is typical Batman actually to be prepared just in case. So I don't see why people said, "Oh, why is he hating him just because he destroyed cities?" Yeah, yes.
That's kind of a Batman.
This character here is actually called KG Beast. I forget his real name.
This guy.
In comic books, yes.
With the glasses.
Yeah.
KGB. So what does he do?
Well, apparently he's from Russia. I forgot what was his real name. He has a costume in comic books and
He does sound
things like that. But yeah, and kind of like, but Rachel Wu in the comic books takes the plans and he makes them a bit
Even
more
worse.
brutal, yes.
Terrible.
But it is typical Batman actually to be prepared more like, and a bit more like a super soldier. I mean, with a name like KGB.
Yeah. Here he is just a normal guy basically.
Yeah. But when they say his name, actually, if you're a comic book nerd, you say, "Oh, KGB." Okay. Although
They do not emphasize this at all.
no. I mean, only if you see the name, you will know. Okay, this is him. Just like you know that all the photographer here must be Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
It is Jimmy Olsen.
I kind of thought that he's not meant to be the Jimmy Olsen.
Probably not actually. Yeah.
He's just meant to be some guy with similar name, so we have some kind of a reference to the character, but he's not the character.
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
I think it says Jimmy Olsen in the end credits. I'm not sure. But even then, way better than the Jimmy Olsen in the Superhero show.
Yeah, he's just way better for 2 minutes, but
it's not a character that you always need so much. I mean, some people think, oh, with Superman, Jimmy Olsen must be there.
I personally never cared about Jimmy Olsen.
Right?
He was more like a big deal when Superman character was first created in the comic books after he started developing. Then, later on they introduced Jimmy Olsen as somebody that's supposed to be like our view of Superman as a character. Just the regular guy in between the Superman's events, so to speak.
He actually comes from the radio show that they had with Superman, and then they
exactly, yes.
put him in the comic books.
Yeah, he was invented, so to speak, when they had this show.
And here is how KGB work.
Yeah, he just shoots people. But he has no remorse, he's just doing. He's like a robot in that regard. He's just acting on whatever his orders are.
Yeah, and I think he had in the comic book something like a fiery weapon. He had something on his hand there, I think.
So that is what we get. I mean, only the fact that he can hold a flamethrower.
Yeah.
So this whole scene is confusing to a lot of people because they didn't get why this has any relevance to the whole story. But I think, especially when you see, the whole cut, like now we are watching the full cut of the movie, it was meant to represent the fact, the link to Lex and what he is doing behind the scenes, that he has reached in such a far away, so to speak, because his plan is pretty grand and it involves a lot of elements.
Yeah, just again showing now we need Superman here to show what he can do with those people so that they become afraid, actually.
Yeah, and maybe he wanted to link him to Lois somehow.
Yeah. And also maybe to exploit that weakness, because we do know that Lois is bigger weakness than Kryptonite.
Yeah.
In most cases.
And she's always like the cure to his sanity and humanity, so to speak. She's the link.
Now people say here again, he just straight up killed that guy because he smashed him to the wall and things like that. I mean, he does things like that in comic books, and it always seems as if he just grabs the person and then he breaks the wall with his body, not with the other guy's body, if it's a normal person.
Yeah, he can just grab him, turn around, go through the wall with his back, or even if it's with his hands, he's gonna do it in the way that, like, the wall's gonna hit here, let's say, not gonna hit the guy.
Yeah, and I think that actually that's what the scene has to show, that it needs to look as if Superman did this.
Yeah, it burned them. They can always like make a DNA test, see that it's a regular fire or something. Probably burning from his laser vision is gonna be totally different.
Well, it ain't like Homelander's laser, so yeah,
It should be.
it should be.
It should be.
Yeah.
We just never see Superman to do that to any human, or at least I don't know if there's something in the
Not
comic
sure human,
books.
no.
Because he should totally burn through flesh like it's butter.
And that's why this scene actually is important, as you said, because it shows how Lex starts to put all the pieces together.
Yes, sorry. Bulgaria. So we don't even know that it's Lex yet. So that's the interesting part. We don't even know that this is Lex.
And that's why most people complain about the movie, because they wanted to know everything from the beginning,
to make sense.
To make sense, yeah. Just the movie to hold your hand and to say, now here this happens and here this happens. You don't have to think, just eat popcorn and be quiet.
Yeah, it seems convoluted, but it's not actually. It just paints a picture that has particular details that you don't expect to see. You don't expect to see Superman, in the desert doing whatever. You don't expect to see Lois to investigate whatever there. You expect her to see in the city. So it's just totally different setting, just to explain that Superman is a global superhero. He can go to other places, so that way you present to the world, hey, he's a threat to the whole world. Not only America, but see, he can be there and here like in seconds, and he can do whatever he wants. So it's literally painting the picture that he is a threat, which I never even thought about before.
Yeah.
Right before this minute. So the more you watch the movie, you just have to think about how the movie is set up and why all those particular scenes matter. So now we turn into the Batman side of things, because this story is, so to speak, finished for now, and you're kind of left wondering what's the deal with this desert scene.
And that's what the movie actually has to do, to kind of let you thinking what was the deal there, so that you can actually want to watch and see more, and not from the first minute everything to be clear.
Clear and resolved.
Yeah. And this is a great scene with Batman, actually, because it comes again with some hints of the Dark Knight Returns, the comic book, which a lot of things actually started took from there. I think that's the only Batman comic book that he has ever read, but it's one of the best ones. So
as long as he can understand it and present it on the screen in some way.
And you can actually see how menacing here Batman is.
Yeah, and
just the guy in the suit.
That's like a human trafficking situation here, so to speak, and he discovered that. And I think this guy is his second day at work.
Yeah, which is also like in the Dark Knight Returns comic book, there is a new guy there who goes with a police officer. Just the difference there is that the other police officer knows who Batman is, and he sees him returning, because in that story he returns, and he kind of leaves the new guy being okay, let him just do his job. That's his job. And the new guy thinks, but that's against the law. No. Just leave him be.
Interesting. It's another thing to know the comics and just to watch the movie and be like, oh, that's never happening. That never happened ever in the comic book.
And that scene here is actually something that I always wanted to see in a Batman movie. Just look, he's standing there. He still looks movable, although he's big, just like in a comic book.
And how he's doing this Spider-Man thing. I always wonder that.
Well, because he studied also climbing and all other things.
So he can cling on to walls?
Kind of, yes. It's not like a Spider-Man wall crawling, it's just knowing where to grab things. It's also from martial arts. And here is the mark of the bat, as they say. Which is actually a throwback to all these old pulp comic book characters which were there before Batman and all the others, which all they're like the Shadow or the Phantom. even one called Spider,
Actually, that
which
was
they usually have something. Usually, it's a link with their logo on, and they always mark the criminal after that, knowing that I just caught you, and that you remember not to do that again because I just caught you.
yeah. A lot of people complained about that as well.
Because they don't know those things about.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, but that's his genius because now this guy is gonna be forever branded with Batman. And that's
Exactly.
gonna be a mark, literally a mark that yeah, you did this, yeah, Batman got you, and yeah, if you go to prison, everybody are gonna know that you're gonna, yeah, that you were, you know.
Which is a scene that is explained here in the director's cut. In the normal one, it's not there. They don't show what this mark actually means. Probably that's again, people were confused, but why is he branding them? But first, it's a throwaway to throw back to all those Pope characters, which is kind of logical Batman to do this. He originates from those characters. And it's, as you said, this criminal will be forever afraid. And the idea of Batman is for you to be afraid of him and not to do that things again. And Batman is all about fear.
Yeah, Superman is all about the hope.
Yeah. Which he brings now with flowers and all other things.
Yeah, he's so nice.
I never understood how both of them fit in that bathtub, but still.
They don't actually fit, but he can just, you know, step in for a bit and not break it, hopefully.
Actually, how much time passed between the really things from Man of Steel and that point?
They say 6 months, I think. I'm not really sure.
He also can make a massage.
Yeah, well, Lois should be very cold right now. So,
but again, the things that they say here actually show that she is kind of wondering, can Superman be Superman and be with someone always there for the world and for someone, which is kind of like a superhero thing. I mean, can you really always do that thing, saving the world and be with someone?
well, she also has to go to her job, and he has to also go to his job, so he has to be there 9 hours a day. Well, he's a reporter, which helps him out go outside and do Superman stuff. Oh, Jesus, that's very unpractical. They will have to clean this up then. I mean,
I think he used his superpowers. Oh, he was here again for that movie.
Yeah, of course he is. Logic. Aliens cannot be hairy.
Well,
I'm
maybe on
protesting.
Krypton.
Especially in Krypton, because they have like a few thousand years, you know, development, and by this point, at least as far as I know, there should be no hair on the body. Just a natural progression because we're not in the jungle or in the, you know, somewhere in the ice living, so we don't need hair on the body, so to speak.
It's again impractical to have hair on the body.
Yeah, it's very impractical.
Jeremy Irons was a good Alfred.
Oh, he's a very good Alfred. I totally hate him in the TV show Watchmen.
Oh, he was there.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, he did also a great job there. I just hate his character. His character is horrible. But of course, he did a great job.
Oh yeah, Anatoly Knyazov, yes, that was the name of KGBist, who was also in Arrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the other guy who trained him with the Baratva things and you know, the Russian with the beard, Anatoly Knyazov.
I forgot Arrow because I haven't seen it.
Good.
I haven't seen it for a while now.
Good.
So.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same character.
I guess.
I always like kind of hear the talks about Alfred and Bruce in that version. It's kind of, again, you see that it's a changed Bruce after all that happened, and you can see how Alfred is still trying to get him to get into the other way that it was before.
Yeah.
But still.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the other guy who train him with the baratva things and the Russian with the beard, Anatoly Knyazov.
I forgot Arrow because I haven't
Good,
seen it.
good,
I haven't seen
good,
it for a while now.
good.
So,
That's a good thing.
yeah.
But yeah, it's the same character.
I guess.
I always like kind of hear the talks about Alfred and Bruce in that version. It's kind of again you see that it's a changed Bruce after all that happened, and you can see how Alfred is still trying to get him to get into the other way that it was before.
Yeah.
But still.
He. Oh really?
Yeah, the other guy who trained him with the baratva things and the Russian with the beard, Anatoly Knyazov.
I forgot Arrow because I haven't
Good,
seen it.
good,
I haven't seen
good,
it for a while now.
good.
So,
That's a good thing.
yeah.
But yeah, it's the same character.
I guess.
I always like kind of hear the Michael Rosenbaum who played one of the best Lexes there,
Yeah.
but it was 10-season show that they had time to develop that character. Although he stops appearing after 7th or something, and most people wanted that kind of, or they had in their mind. By the way, it's great that here Michael Shanks just appears as a corpse, just to play his role as a corpse.
No,
Anyhow,
that's actually a real dummy.
Oh,
They
it is.
created
Oh, it's
for
not
the
him,
movie,
it's-
so it's not him at all.
so he's not even here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, watch how they made the dummy. It looked
Oh.
very real.
Is it like in CSI when they make this dummy out of material that is close to the
Yeah, it's
human skin so
silicone
that they can test?
somehow.
Nice.
Something like that. I mean, Michael Shannon had to, of course, sit in a table and be molded his whole body and
Nice.
all of those things so they can make this. But yeah, it's a dummy, it's not him.
So yeah, I think that actually most people had in mind this typical business tycoon, cold-blooded Lex Luthor. Like they know from the cartoons and some comic books or things like that. But I think this is again the origin of Lex, how he became like that. So after things that happened here, I think that if we saw him in a movie, it was going to be then the next level of Lex.
Yeah, when we saw his head already shaved at the end.
Yeah. Most people had that as a problem. I mean, they said if his head is not shaved, it's not Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor had hair in comic books, by the way.
At some point.
In some versions, there was a clone that even had a beard and things like that. In some versions, he had, and then he lost it. But I think it's another thing that you have to say. It's not Lex if he's not bald. I mean, it's the character.
Yeah, I mean he did become bald, but
Bald, yeah.
we just didn't see him anymore.
So he is over the top, as we say, but they are over the top Lex Luthors in other things that people forget about. There was a Superboy TV show in the 90s. Basically, it was Superman, just they call it Superboy. The guy who played Lex there in the second season, because they changed it in the second one, he's over the top. 90s over the top, but it's still great and menacing Lex that this guy is so over the top that he's actually menacing. Because you don't know what he's going to do, and you don't know what this guy is going to do.
Yeah.
And you do see in the end that he's actually genius. He put
Yeah,
all
he
those
is.
things together. Even the scene here with the candy, which actually indicates that basically you're going to eat from my hand because I do whatever I want.
It shows that he's a crazy narcissist, psychopath. What else? What was the word for? Well, narcissist, psychopath,
Control freak.
control freak. Well, there's one more, social. I forgot that.
Awkwardness.
Yeah, well, he is.
Because who else is going to know that you can actually cut a Kryptonian skin with a kryptonite?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty big candy. That's huge.
I always wondered, is it chewable or one of those things that you have to suck or something?
I don't know, but oh, this is a great shot of his hairiness.
Yes. I hope that nothing gets in the egg.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I hope that nothing gets into the.
Actually, those eggs weren't real. You could see
Really?
when they look really perfect, kind of like in the commercials when they show the food and it's actually not real food.
Oh yeah, probably not. Ew. I'm wondering how much he's eating, because that will never satisfy him. Should eat a lot more
Yeah,
than this.
should eat more. Yeah, was that the guy with the legs here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he lost his family there, right?
Yeah, and his legs.
But he always looked more sad because of the legs.
Yeah.
I mean, I always forget. Oh yeah, he had a family that he lost there. It's not.
That's not. Yeah, that's not his point. He's very. How's the word for that? Bitter and.
Well, he never took lessons from Professor Xavier and the chief from Doom Patrol on how to
Yeah.
become a hero and still have no legs.
Yeah.
And he
He
still
just-
can climb another things.
So he's just a very. Well, to me, he's a just pathetic loser,
Mm,
basically.
yeah. Which, to your point, is also a thing like with legs because legs, not legs, legs, because he is doing all those things just because he also kind of don't think that there is a godlike creature that can be better than him, which is typical Lex if people actually
Yeah.
get into it. And I always forget that Wallen Switchboard was here. I don't know why.
So Lex is also a guy with a lot of complexes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in comic books, he does all those things because, yeah, he thinks, much like Batman, that Superman is a threat, but not for the whole world. He's a threat to me
Yeah.
because people like him more than me. He can stop my things and things like that. I mean, I'm just a normal person, but I'm still better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and
He
it's,
has complexes.
this is again the things that when people understand actually that we don't get to control everything, and actually we don't control much at all, because there is another who controls everything, as we say, God. But, you know, usually people don't want to accept that fact, and it shows here with Bruce. He sees actually this God-like creature that it is here, and you now have the proof that beings like that actually exist, and he can't take that.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. That's why he wants to punish this god, which people think Superman is.
Yeah.
They're always kind of close to the idea behind Superman, but still, people could never understand the idea behind Superman. They always think it's the guy who can do everything.
Yeah, it's not even everything.
It's not even.
It's
everything.
just more than you're used to.
These are actually some of the scenes in the
In the
director's cut
extra,
here,
yeah.
yes, that actually show that he went to Gotham, that he did the reporter's job. It wasn't just he's never Clark. He's always Superman. And there are scenes here that show actually that he went. He discovered who Batman is.
Yeah.
Well, not you know.
And he went the slow way.
Mhm,
That's
yeah.
very slow.
So yeah, if people want even better understanding, the director's cut is the best option. Now, I had a friend who always said here, what is Bruce Wayne doing in these illegal matches and things like that? And he said, he's supposed to be a billionaire playboy. They do those things for fun.
Yeah.
So he has to actually do that, and it's also a great way to investigate.
It's like a public image.
Yeah. I mean,
He has
rich
to be
people do
there.
that. He
Yeah.
has to be there.
He actually plays that role of the generic billionaire.
Mhm.
So that way he removes any suspicion of him.
Yeah.
Because you just perceive him as this guy that will do anything like whoever else is rich as him. So you're just
And-
pretending to be generic.
Things like underground poker tournaments, for example, do exist in which rich people and famous actors and famous people in general go and play. Actually, Tobey Maguire did this.
Oh,
and he won a lot. That's why he doesn't play movies anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
because he's rich from this.
Yeah, but he really went far. I mean, at one moment he didn't feel okay because it's an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I think also he had friends with common friends with Ben Affleck and so on. I had to ask again. A friend of mine knew the whole story. There is a movie about that,
Really?
in which they imply that this character there it's not Tobey Maguire, but is inspired by him.
Oh yeah, sure,
And things there.
sure,
So,
sure.
so yeah, so actually rich people go to things like that. Now, I'm sure that he doesn't like it. I mean, blues, but it's an image that he has to maintain.
Yeah, he's not the stuck-up type.
Yeah. I mean, this is not blues fan from the 40s, in which they just go to their club with rich people speaking, I say, today I had a new car. Blues, what did you do? Yeah,
Well, I play golf.
yeah, I play golf. Yeah. My butler cooked everything.
Yeah.
I always see here how kind of Morpheus tried to get from get out from Warren's Fishburne here and to say, I can teach you many things, but I'm
Yeah.
just your boss here.
I have 2 pills here.
But it's a good
in my pocket.
but it's but it's a good Perry White, although no, it's not the typical Perry White, but still. This is okay when you actually cast a black actor to play a character who is white in the comic books, because actually
It does contribute because he
Yeah.
has a great persona to
Yeah.
him.
I mean, you don't contradict anything with the character. Perry White can be, although his name is Perry White, can be and black and that, and even Asian if they want to. It's not something that contradicts the character. Whereas if they make Superman black, then that's a different thing.
Yeah, that's
And
totally
that girl
different.
is skinny.
Very much so.
She's supposed to play Mercy Graves, who is Lex's assistant. And she is. She just doesn't do
She's
anything.
white in the comics, right?
Yeah.
Is that blonde, blue-eyed woman in the DC animations, right?
No, wasn't she brown hair there or something? I think he again she originates from that cartoon and then she transfers to comic books, much like Hardy.
I remember to be. I mean, for her to be like blue-eyed, but I maybe totally wrong.
She was blue-eyed, but I think she always wear this
Yeah, hat.
chauffeur's hat.
Yes, yeah.
So that's why I can't remember.
Her job is not easy, but she doesn't do anything.
No,
Absolutely anything.
again, could be anyone. No need to say, oh, this is Mercy Graves. Well,
Yeah, so they just made her different race for the sake of it, as always. But it really doesn't matter in this case.
this scene
Anyway.
actually again shows how ruthless Alex is, because he's not afraid to speak with what was she? Was
Governor.
she a governor? Yes. Well, if Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor, then maybe things would be different.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's a very strong woman actually.
Mhm.
That's why Lex does not like her, because she's smart. She has, she knows her position and she knows what to do with it.
Mhm.
That's very clear. This actress is very good to
Yeah.
portray that as well.
And I like that they gave her this kind of, what was the thing? This accent that people from the South had. Was it people from the South?
I'm not sure.
This American accent that,
Yeah.
like a Rogue in X-Men.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah. And the picture here, which actually shows exactly what Alex thinks about God and creatures like that.
Is that not like upside down?
Yeah.
But that also maybe is a metaphor for the parademons.
Actually, yeah.
And it's like he does want those parademons to come to Earth and do their thing.
I've heard this kind of, what was the thing? This accent that people from the South had. Was it people from the South?
I'm not sure.
This American accent that,
Yeah.
like a Rogue in X-Men.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah. And the picture here, which actually shows exactly what Alex thinks about God and creatures like that.
Is that not like upside down?
Yeah.
But that also maybe is a metaphor for the parademons. And,
Actually, yeah.
and he does, it's like he does want those parademons to come to Earth and do their thing.
I've heard this kind of, what was the thing? This accent that people from the South had. Was the people from the South.
I'm not sure.
This American accent that.
Yeah.
Like Rogue in X-Men.
I get it, yeah.
He sometimes sees himself. And he's drinking here a lot. And there was a woman here.
Yeah.
Which I always thought in that scene, now was this because you actually wanted this, or you again pretending that you need to be the playboy here, that sometimes you have to do this?
Well, that's in private, so if he did it for himself.
Yeah, they're always kind of short in comic books as if he's this person who doesn't even need sex and things like that, but I never bought that actually.
No, he's always with some woman.
Yeah.
Is that like Catwoman's gonna be someone else?
Yeah, but with other normal women, it always they show as if she likes him, and yeah, he doesn't like that because he can't be with her because he's Batman. It always look that it just that he doesn't just want sex to say okay, just for this night, okay. It never looked like that in comics. It actually it looks better, and they still drink here. Yeah, there's a lot of drinking in that movie.
Yeah, and he has alcohol next to pills, which we all know that that's not mixing very well.
It does shows that actually this different broken Batman, which again comes kind of from the Dark Knight Returns, which there he was older, I mean 50 or 60 he was there. And they do show this here, that things that happen to him actually change him. Things with Robin and all that. And he sees that maybe it's time for a different Batman.
Yeah, but if he is really on pills and drinking all the time, he's not gonna be able to perform very well with his Batman.
Maybe it was just for this night. Great Batcave, and here is the costume actually that shows that this Robin is pretty much dead.
Yeah,
I think it's Jason Todd. Yes.
He is very much dead. Oh, that's a very good back of his kiss. He has some kind of scars.
And it's a good Batcave, this one.
Yeah.
It looks still technological and still like a cave. Like the container that Christian Bale had in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's
like
like
a
an
container
aquarium.
there. Yeah.
Aquarium of some sort.
Yeah. And here he's driving on his own.
Yeah. He's really committed to his role.
Now, yeah, here there is a thing that people said to you, wait, he doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is, he's a reporter. So maybe, yeah, let's say that this is a thing.
Well, if he got to... I mean, he's a reporter from what, like 5 minutes, like few months?
Yeah, that's
He's
really
too
good.
busy, I mean...
That's a great back too.
Oh, yeah. I agree. Yeah.
There was something different in, I think that it's because Ben Affleck here has like a stubble for this Bruce Wayne, but in the Justice League he was clean shaved and something looked different there. I don't know why his face, maybe it was the cover photo of the movie, but his face looked a bit more...
It was puffier.
Yeah, but also the cover, I mean it was puffier, but still.
Here he is in a better shape. He is clearly in a better shape and his face is leaner. That's what happens when you're
Mix
in a
alcohol with pills.
No. I mean that he's in a better physical shape and he's leaner, but when in Justice League he's more fat and that shows in his face as well. You can compare the two movies, you can see how he looks like in the face. It's obvious. His jawline is more defined here. And when you switch to Justice League, you see that he's more like...
And I remember when my face used to look puffier.
Oh, I see you in
So it's the
pictures.
same thing, right?
Yeah, totally different person.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I just wonder what she eats.
Nothing.
Maybe air
Yeah.
and water because
She still looks nice in the face, but everything else is so skinny. Girl.
yeah, she's like a leaf
Mm.
basically.
And I like that actually Alfred here is helping, much like in the animated well, not so much there, but in some of the animated series actually he does help a lot with sitting in front of the computer and doing things.
Yeah, he understands his technology. He's not that old. He could be older, but he's not.
Here in that speech actually we see that Lex had some things to deal with, which he can't always control in front of people.
Yeah, he looks very frantic.
But it is more like, as we say, nowadays younger millionaire that would behave like that. I mean, it's not that Lex Luthor needs to be like Steve Jobs or something. as a character, he does. If it's today, he would behave like that, and if it's so young, that kind of thing.
No, I'm not sure his behavior is realistic to anything, but I mean, if I was like a PR person or whoever is supposed to control somehow how he is showing himself outside, how movie stars also have such people that work for them, I would be like, you look inadequate. I'm not letting you speak in front of people, sorry.
Would you think that this Lex would listen to you? So,
Well, then he should fire me then, because I
Right.
have to tell him
So,
what I think.
maybe you're fired.
maybe you're fired, yeah. Maybe he won't. He's such a narcissist, he will never hire such a person. He would just be crazy.
I think that this Lex is exactly like that. Because as we say, it's a different type of business person.
Yeah.
Here is the first fight with Superman and Batman. It's great that you actually kind of Lex knows what happens, but never shows it so much. Yeah, now here some of his lines fall a bit flat. They look like something that he would say in the 60s. I mean, do not pick a fight with that person.
Yeah, but do you think he knows that Clark is Superman here?
By that point,
Yeah.
I think yes.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Otherwise, why would he even put the effort to put those two people together?
Yeah,
in a way?
and he says things that if you don't know them, and if you don't know that if they are connected in some way, that they're both superheroes in this instance, you will never say something like this because you're not associate them with each other at all.
Yeah,
You will
yeah.
not do anything like it.
Exactly. He knows who Quark is as a reporter, though he's not a famous reporter. I mean, it's Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Why wasn't Lois there? Actually.
She's
They
researching
sent
her
only one,
bullet, her
Ah,
bullet
yeah, yeah.
situation.
And again, great back there. Because,
Yeah, of course. The dress does help to to showcase it. It's a great design.
I think someone posted photos of photoshopped Gal Gadot, which is made a bit more muscular, and they said this is how she has supposed to look like. I said, Wonder Woman is not the muscles only, So, but, yeah.
Well, she should be more muscular.
But they kind of made her not looking like, let's say, you, but like the chick from that show with the Rock that we watched yesterday, with the gigantic.
Oh no,
ginormous. So,
I mean,
no.
that's over the top.
So, yeah.
That's the other end of the stick. Not that much. Not like Abby from The Last of Us.
Yeah.
By the way, you should watch that, like the whole cutscene thing. If you cannot, you cannot play the game, but just watch it. See what you think. First, you have to watch the first game though, and then I'm expecting you to outrage in the second.
Ah, okay. Good.
Joe Capia likes it, but I don't know why.
He likes interesting things. Look, it's actually great here that they made it in the Day of the Dead, this celebration
Yeah.
in Mexico, which shows that actually, and then you see some new age people who just wait for the person like that to be there and to speak the things. It's a great montage that actually shows.
Yeah, we see that he shows us that he helps people.
Mm,
And he's all over the place helping in all kinds of cases. I don't know how
yes.
that happened.
And this will happen if we have a person like that in the world. I mean, there will be all these problems and political people speaking about it.
Oh, it's
you
gonna
know.
be all
So,
over the place.
yeah.
It's going to be in all news outlets and everything.
I mean, imagine what will happen if there is a person now who steps up and says, "I'm Jesus." Nowadays. So things like that will happen around the world. Again, great images from some of them are like just popped from the comic books, especially this one with the object.
Yeah, it's great. When did they had time to take paint and draw this?
I think maybe
It's a
the child
flood!
killed them.
First, paint! Then go to roof. Then paint this!
Or you know, maybe they had it pre-painted just in case. So just in case.
Yeah, there's gonna be a flood in the year 2000 and something, so let's paint the roof
Yeah,
and just get ready. And,
just if round
and Superman should know that we are here and he has to save us. It's not like he will not see them ever if there's no sign on the
they
roof.
can just scream Superman, he can hear them anyway, so... But yes, if there is a person like that in the world, I mean, there will be all those talks and hearings about what should we do with him or her now.
Yeah, for sure. He has to know how to stay out of the public opinion that not just do his own thing.
And it actually shows that always people, when there is a person like that, people always cling to that person, like, oh, now you can help me. And but Superman always wants you to inspire you to find this help inside yourself, not just to rely on him. Sure, he'll be there, but the idea is that you can do this on your own.
Yeah, I mean, the idea...
if you literally found the power to paint the whole building there, so apparently you can save yourself in some way, but still. But that's the idea, that it shows actually how at any moment people can turn, even people who don't believe in things like that can actually.
But as I discussed also before, Superman, the whole idea of Superman is not for him to be end all be all. It's for him to teach us to, be a better person and find that super powers in ourselves to help ourselves first. It's not about him coming and saving everything.
Yeah.
It's about what he represents in each of us.
Exactly.
So that's a lot more important. That's why people don't get Superman.
And that's why people don't get golden generals.
Yeah.
Because they think this magical genie that just, oh please God, let this happen, and then it doesn't happen. And why? Well,
why? Yeah, God sucks then.
God sucks then because you didn't plan this for me. Well.
But as I discussed also before, Superman, the whole idea of Superman is not for him to be end all be all. It's for him to teach us to, be a better person and find that super powers in ourselves to help ourselves first. It's not about him coming and saving everything.
Yeah.
It's about what he represents in each of us.
Exactly.
So that's a lot more important. That's why people don't get Superman.
And that's why people don't get golden generals.
Yeah.
Because they think this magical genie that just, oh please God, let
some other circumstances, but this is what happened here. Even if he went to prison without this mark, he can still be killed. Like a lot of prisoners got killed all the time. So it's not like Batman just sentenced him to death on purpose. He has to do this branding, so fear is it's implied all the time.
So that you remember.
Yeah, the fact that somebody can get killed afterwards, or he can get killed on the way to the prison.
Yeah.
I mean, the car could just get into a car crash
I
accident.
mean, he's not the freaking kingpin that in prison everyone is going to search. No, you're the kingpin.
Yeah. Okay, that happened fast.
Yeah, look how a different chair makes the difference, right?
Yeah.
What was the name of that actress actually?
I'm not sure. I never watched her before. I either never watched her or I watched her when she was younger because she's not familiar at all to me.
I think that just by hearing her name, I remembered who she was. Still.
Yeah, her name, yeah, but just forgot about it.
And here actually this scene shows that this didn't happen to the prisoner
Yeah.
because of Batman, but actually again it's
It
Lex
was purposeful, yeah.
and KGB's working on those things so that both of them look bad. I mean, Quark also needs to see Batman as, wait a minute, this guy is not doing the things very legally, right? So maybe he's not a hero. Maybe just people in Gotham are crazy to trust him. And it is what happened in prison, you know, you can always go and say to this person, okay, if you kill him, then yeah, you get the 5 more years in, but when you get out, you have some things waiting for you.
Yeah, let's say. But it's a very good seeing how Lex once again just moving the chess pieces, and he did this, so Clark can think that this Bruce Wayne guy is actually really bad.
So this way actually doesn't matter if Lex is over the top as character because he's still doing his thing. He's still moving all the pieces.
He's conniving and methodical and all kinds of evil.
But yeah, he's not bold. How can this be Lex if he's not bold? You know.
He's a bit behind the scenes, but with his status, he cannot be direct so much. I mean, he can talk crap to the senator, the governor. Senator or governor?
I think maybe let's say senator.
Okay.
He can, and he does it in comic books also. I mean, because he still has power. I mean, basically, he was the most powerful person in Metropolis.
Yeah, but that way he just comes out as jerk. That doesn't mean that he's this criminal mastermind. So he still can allow himself to do this and be a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, the only person who can actually talk like that to Superman, Perry White, his boss, because it's still his boss.
Yeah.
It still shows that actually, as a reporter, you can't always do whatever you want.
Yeah, and besides that line about 1938 is kind of reference to the old Superman days. That's not
this Superman.
Yeah, those are not these stories. Things are not covered the same way. You have to do other things for today's time. So that is also a reference to how Superman really is in today's times.
Yeah.
He's not the guy that's gonna pick a kitten out of the tree and just be so innocent and polite all the time, because that's just not how the world is. He does not grow up in this world.
Yeah.
And he does not grow up as this person.
Yeah.
He grew up as someone that was unique in so many ways, and he still had to be good and do whatever expected of him. First, as a normal person, from when you look at the point of view of his parents and how they expected him to behave, then he has to deal with all of those powers and growing up with that, and then he sees that he has to step up and be Superman when that Zod thing happens. So now he has the chance to be himself, but at the same time still have this amazing responsibility. So he is pressed in a way from a regular person's view as a human being, who he is as a human being, who he has to be, who he is expected to be, but now he has the expectation of being Superman, and this brings out his powers and how he has to learn to use them and all the things that come up with having these powers and being this person. So he is two people and he has to be perfect. So that is a pressure on him, a lot of pressure on him, which people, I don't know that they even realize. Because there's no equivalent to this.
They just want this old Superman from the 30s, the 60s,
Yeah, that's not happening.
It's not. I mean, that's why Superman Returns with Brandon Routh didn't work. It was 2000 something, and it was the other Superman from
Yeah,
the 70s.
yeah,
and
it was the Christopher Reeve
Yeah.
Superman.
Great scenes with both of them here, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which they really work together. I don't know why.
They have
there is
chemistry.
that chemistry there, yes. And Ben Affleck knows how to play actually romantic stuff, because I see him in lots of his early romantic movies.
Yeah.
And he's good in those. If you haven't seen Chasing Amy,
No.
no, you have to. Man. It's with him and some other things.
He has some moves there,
Yeah.
so to speak. He knows how to make his face.
And there is again here back and forth about some things that she knows that.
Yeah, we get an idea of Wonder Woman and how she can work in our modern world. She did learn some stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like she didn't. She did caught on to the times and the technology and how she can do things.
It's not this speaking like a Thor, yes, Themyscirian woman that says for the battle and the glory and things like that.
Yeah, she did get into our times and learn whatever she could.
And she had more time actually. She had to live through all those.
Yeah, when she left the mascara, she, she learned about us and just opened her mind to us, and not only, oh no, the mascara only forever.
Yeah, well, and only women.
And only women, yeah.
Yeah, this, I hope that we're going to see some more of this in this Snyder Cut now, because it was supposed to be there.
Oh yeah, I think
This
so.
whole dark future, which is kind of based on Injustice. More of the games actually, because the games did this idea before comic books. Arguable, but still, this idea that actually something happened will something.
That this is very
Lois
much
is
Injustice
dead.
like.
Yeah, this is. I think that actually Snyder played some of the games himself.
And that is from the game, is that from the
It
comic
is,
books?
yes.
It's
No,
directly...
it's the game gets this idea first.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of had this idea in the Justice League cartoon in the episode that the Flash was dead in an alternate universe, so Superman goes and kills Luthor because he was kind of, I think he did it or it was his fault and something, and the whole Justice League finally snapped and said without him, who was actually, this Flash was their anchor to not getting too far away because he was the funny guy actually, unlike this Flash here. And they created something like the Injustice Society, I think, or whatever. Now, I mean, they were still heroes, but controlling the world. And Quark killed Luthor there. So I think they played with that idea first, just around the Flash, because when they came to our world, they saw Flash, it was Wally West there, and they said, well, he's alive here, that's why these guys actually still do the good thing, and we actually became jerks. Because they still have their Flash, we don't. Yeah. And here is a great idea that actually this happens to Lois, and it's logical for
Superman created an
Superman
army.
to, yes, yeah. Much like in Red Sun, this is also kind of from there, because they do have these crests here.
Yeah, on the shoulders.
And they said here about this scene again, Batman is using guns and things like that. It's an apocalyptic future, for goodness sake.
Yeah,
now he has to.
He will use whatever he wants.
You have to survive now. It's not, I can't kill people now. No, now you can.
Yeah, he kind of has to. I mean, those people are not gonna stop.
No.
They're not gonna be reformed. They're not gonna change. Nothing
There are
like that
also
can happen.
parademons there.
Yeah, the Parademons kind of look working with Superman, which means that Darkseid probably controls him.
Yeah. In the cartoon, there was also one of those ideas that he brainwashed him and he controlled him for a longer time.
And he does have such powers anyway, so he can do that. Otherwise, he's not doing that all the time in the other comic books. Maybe something else is preventing him.
Maybe just never figured it out.
Yeah. And just imagine how Ben Affleck must be feeling with all that rubber and clothes. He must be just frying in there. I feel for him.
Yeah, this is one of those scenes that when he gets off his mask and the makeup with the ice is not there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could see why Superman would become like that if voice is not there, because here we can see clearly how voice was his voice of reason.
Oh, here's
Yeah, here's the thing, yes.
yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes.
like Homelander,
Yeah.
the closest thing, but just censored.
And yes, really, we don't know what will become of him if voice wasn't there after all the things that happened with Zod and
Yeah.
you know, literally losing your world and then lose your world again because you had to kill the last person who was your
Yeah, and everything that happened in this now can totally work if they made a Flashpoint movie that they want, because they can change
Yeah, they can
everything that
change
they
it.
want. Even the actors, it's still gonna work.
Yeah.
In another dimension, universe, timeline, whatever, they can change whatever they want.
Yeah, and then we'll add up the things. I mean, you can see here that they had bigger plans because people didn't understand what happened here. Why is this happening now? And you,
Yeah, he has a costume that's like a armor, which is very cool.
again, much like in Injustice, which is costume looks like that, and it looks way better than the real costume that the Flash had. But still.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of interesting thing about Injustice for sure.
And here we can see that actually Lex already started to discover all those beings that had powers.
Yeah, long before Bruce. And now the manipulation that starts here. I mean, the continuation of the manipulation.
Yeah. Seeing everything that, I mean, Bruce didn't stumble to that information just by chance or because of his detective work. Everything was there.
Yeah.
And the best way actually to get rid of two beings like that is if you
Put them against each other.
Yes. Especially if he and Alex knows that there is more. It's not only the two of them.
They never said who sends those things to Clark and Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Lex, but they don't know. They don't ask, actually.
They actually didn't ask.
Yeah.
I was going to say they actually didn't ask who sends me those things.
Yeah.
Why?
So somebody apparently wants me to know this.
Yeah.
For some reason.
But both of them has some crowded judgment at the moment, so they would actually. Maybe that's why they didn't talk. Wait, what?
Well, Lex is smart because he also knows that they are both smart. So he tries to do this very methodically and slowly. Yeah. He just puts clues here and there, you know, controls the events in a certain way. He basically creates events so they can be against each other. They can form their thinking towards, yeah, Superman is bad, yeah, Ben Affleck is bad. Yeah, Batman is bad. So that takes time. That was through the course of a few weeks probably. And now he is ready to fight him.
This is actually again the scene that shows that, as he says, if there is even 1% chance for him to be bad, we have to be ready. We have to take it with absolute certainty, which it's typical Batman. It shows you if he can even for the moment turn bad, then we have to be ready.
Yeah.
And it's for him, it's a war. He said that he started a war 3 years ago. So, but for Batman, this was always a war against crime.
It's events, so they can be against each other. They can form their thinking towards, yeah, Superman is bad, yeah, Ben Affleck is bad. Yeah, Batman is bad. So that takes time. That was through the course of a few weeks probably. And now he is ready to fight him.
This is actually again the scene that shows that, as he says, if there is even 1% chance for him to be bad, we have to be ready. We have to take it with absolute certainty. So.
Yeah, so for him it's very easy to make any conclusions.
And there you can see it actually in Ben Affleck's face. He really played it great to see his frustrated Batman that actually is ready for the war.
Yeah.
the game is on.
Now this is another manipulation, basically.
Yeah, exactly, showing the two opposites and how actually they have different methods still.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people just make conclusions based on the effect of somebody else's actions, but you don't see why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that is what Lex is using. It's very easy to judge someone without knowing who they are, what they're doing, what they're doing. So before you understand the core of themselves and of their nature and why they do what they do, you're not objective and you just go and judge them.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's all the wrong ways that humanity thinks in general. They just take the surface of things and never dig in. They think that they already know. They already know. They know everything. So this person must be a bad person.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't think like me, so.
Yeah, he's obviously a jerk.
Exactly, yeah, because I'm the best person ever, you know.
I don't have any
He doesn't
mistakes.
think like me, so yeah, apparently he's
I'm
a jerk.
perfect, yeah.
Sure.
Just awesome.
That's why you can see it when people communicate. Usually, when they see something that is different, they ask you the question, but they don't expect the answer. They just expect them for you to kind of finish and to say why you're wrong.
Yeah.
Most of the time, just they don't ask the right questions because most of the time they think I already know the answer.
Exactly.
Now either you say the same thing, or if you don't, then I just jump. But you actually don't listen. You wait like that and you wait for the person to stop and just. Sometimes they don't even wait to start.
That is what is to be led by emotion. That's what this means, to be led by emotion. Because when you're led by emotion, you cannot make an adequate judgment of anything because you actually do not use your brain. You're using your emotions. Emotions cannot lead you to answers. They can just lead you to the total opposite, to the lie. And you are telling yourself this lie.
And to the complaining and things like that.
Everything that's connected to emotion. Emotion is not intelligence.
Yeah, and people think that you can't hide your emotions because you're a human being. The trick is not to hide them. Just not to let them control you. The emotions, they're there.
Yeah.
That's why people usually think, oh, but I have to complain, otherwise I'm not a person.
What?
Once there was a new colleague once, I think she doesn't work with us because she, okay. But she was new and once she said something like, well, we have to complain and things like that. And I said, well, I try not to complain. And she looked at me and said, oh, you're one of those that try not to complain. And I said, well, why not? So,
and those guys are dead.
I said, I try, kind of. I try, not that I don't do it, but it is that when it happens, you kind of see, why was it now? Yeah.
Exactly. If you cannot complain for the sake of complaining, that's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to complain, just let's see why.
Yeah.
This is a great Batmobile, by the way.
This is a great scene altogether.
Yes.
I mean, it exists because he has to take the kryptonite, but the point is, it's pretty awesome.
But it's a great Batman scene, yes.
Yeah.
Doing stuff in the Batmobile, which is a great Batmobile that doesn't destroy the whole city like the Tumblr.
Yeah, and it's functional. It's fast, it's maneuverable, and those people are dead, but who cares?
Now, most of the people in the Dark Knight trilogy were also dead because of that Batmobile. They're just people kind of looking the other way for that because you can't say nothing wrong about Nolan and other things.
Yeah, sure.
So, but it's a way better scene than any scene in the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, Nolan is a great director. I really like some of his more like the Prestige and Inception and things like that. But man, he can't direct action.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but just no. And Snyder knows how to do this. I mean, the moment I heard that Snyder is doing those movies, I was the guy from Watchmen with all the action scenes there. I mean,
and 300 and
300, yes.
One of the most memorable action scenes ever. Like this. This is awesome how the Batman.
This is Batman doing Batman stuff here. Yes.
Yeah. The boat. Genius.
I wonder how this still moves.
Yeah.
And Batman would need those turrets in front of the Batmobile because people usually forget he doesn't use them to kill people, but most of the time he actually used bullets in his Batmobiles
He redirected this rocket, he destroyed it, so...
for things like that, yes,
Yeah.
to destroy doors and other things and cars. I mean, how is he supposed to stop a car?
Yeah.
Well, he's carrying in it, or another great
Superman
scene
is
here, yes.
just like,
This
I've
is
got you,
Batman
bitch.
finally saying kind of,
oh shit,
yeah.
oh shit.
Didn't expect you here, so and this is kind of the message of Superman saying, I don't like how you're doing things.
Yeah,
Although you don't do them like that, but somebody told me that you do it.
yeah, that's...
I'm going to come here and tell you.
Yeah.
But I like how Batman is not afraid to actually look at him. Great scene to see them, both of them.
He's basically ordering him,
Yeah.
but he doesn't say why. That's a bit, kind of bothers me.
Yeah.
And he's being an ass as well. So they're both being asses.
Both of them are being us. That's why actually, as we say, people who do reactional things will do exactly that. I mean, you think, so he's an asshole, so I have to go there and tell him this.
Yeah.
Not actually trying to do it the other way, like he does
Not
later.
having a conversation to explain themselves.
Yeah, he's an asshole. Somebody told me he's an asshole, so I already think that he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Because, this other guy who told me he's not an asshole. So, somebody told me, so it must be right.
Once again, they're both flawed by the fact that they're acting on their emotions rather than the intelligence, because they think that they already checked the intelligence part, the thinking part, but they actually did not. They should both ask themselves who doesn't send the things that they are getting, because they're directed to defaming the other person's character. It's obvious. So somebody is acting behind the scenes, but they're not asking that
And they're not thinking straight, yes. I mean,
both...
Batman is kind of operating from what he saw 2 years ago, with all the things that happened in Metropolis. Superman, maybe because of that weight on his shoulders, that everybody thinks he's the messiah that comes here to always save us, and he has to be always there.
But I would ask this if I was them. I would ask, like, who is sending me this? Who has an interest for me to, be negative about this guy?
And here is the getting of the kryptonite, which is, again, kind of, both of them didn't understand what happened, because that was the other part of the plan. To get the kryptonite and just distract the other two guys.
Yeah, so Lex wins.
Yeah, basically.
When two people fight, third one is winning. I like that, Lois is doing her job this whole time that this is going on. She is investigating.
Yeah. She's not just there to be the damsel in distress.
Not at all. Not at all. She is doing her thing. What she's supposed to do as a character. We just don't see much of it because it's not the vocal point. But
well, the movie's not called Lois and her investigation.
Yeah, it's not there. But Zack Snyder still stays true to her character all the time. Whatever she's on screen, she is Lois Lane, so that's great.
Yeah. And the things here that I said actually connect with all the characters that they show.
Yeah. So we do see, so to speak, behind the scenes how Lois is acting. We do see what Lex is doing, how he is putting all the pieces. I mean, he is seeing this chessboard, because for him that's chessboard. And he's moving the pieces in the meantime.
You can see how even Quark sometimes wonders what is the right way. What am I supposed to do?
Of course.
Should I still continue? I mean, every superhero asks himself that in a moment. And that's why actually they're great, because they still show that sometimes I wonder.
And he's a human in a sense that, I mean,
well,
he's
he
actually
grown up
more
as a human, yes.
Yeah, he's more human than some humans.
People forget that he actually grown up as a human in normal family that taught him those sensibilities. I mean, this simple farm family that maybe if he was growing up in a city was going to be different. Who knows?
Well, like if he grew up in Russia,
Yeah,
he's gonna be
this,
totally
we know what
different.
happens there.
Yeah.
So, or maybe with Russian farmers who actually went to teach him the same things. Yeah.
If
And
he,
how to drink vodka with those.
if he grew up in Bulgaria,
Oh.
it's gonna be normal guy. He grew up here, he's just gonna be
Fat and lazy, probably.
oh
And
no!
Trying to trick people for.
He cannot be
different
fat,
things.
he's Superman.
Well,
He cannot get physically fat, that's impossible. Why she decided to say the truth? Because she saw this guy? The Russian guy?
I think because she saw that actually her life is still in danger. And she knows what she has done.
So it's just better to tell the truth anyway.
Yeah. Although this means that she should be there because she kind of decided to tell the truth, and she knows that these people are watching her.
Well, she just went and decided to do that because if that guy is looking for her, maybe to silence her is better for her. Maybe if she says
If
something,
she
the other
says-
is gonna they're gonna provide protection.
Mhm.
Maybe that's what she thought. It makes sense.
And here is actually the scene that connects all the pieces in
Yeah.
what happened in the first scene.
If you think about it, this movie has so many stuff going for it. You know, I mean, so many things that should be connected. It's one of the most complex superhero movies ever.
Yes.
It's really complex.
And I mean, people used to want that. But then, they actually show that a simpler movie also work, and I think that's why people misunderstood that movie and still
Yeah.
don't. Plus, I have friends who don't like it because Superman dies. And, it's their favorite hero, and you can't kill him, and I say it happens in the comic books.
Yeah, well, the point that many people are making, like for instance, Angry Joe, is that they'll kill him off before we get the chance to get to know him. So that is the argument.
But that was the idea that when he comes back, it's a
a
different Superman. Basically, again, what happens with this is actually how characters, heroes in books and comic books and all other things like that, even in real world, in some tribes in Africa, this is your initiation. Actually, in books, it's usually the initiation. You have some challenges, and then something like maybe you die or something happens to actually break apart this image of yourself that you have, and then you return as a new person.
Yeah.
This is actually how they take it and put it in literature, which I'm very thankful that in university I had this course of literature that they actually taught us that.
That's great, by the way.
Yeah.
That a lot of people should know that. And
Yeah.
if we got the original Snyder cut, we'll actually see how Superman was supposed to be after he got back. So now we're going to see this.
Yeah.
When the Snyder
I mean, in
cut
comic
comes
books
out.
it doesn't work because he just comes back, and he's the same Superman that you have before that.
Just with long
The idea
hair.
was we kill him and we're never going to have him again. But the sales went down, and they said, we just killed our most terrible character.
Yeah.
Let's bring him back. And there is no change where he's with long hair.
Yeah, the idea was not that.
No.
But
And
now
here
we
you can
have
see
a
it.
chance with the movies to present a new Superman when he comes back.
Yeah.
Because just the setting is different. And besides, there's enough of world building, enough of building of his image and how people perceive him. Although this is the second movie, after Man of Steel, so they can, it's enough so they can still kill him and bring him back and start anew. So it really makes sense because you see the reality of his character that is set in present time, how the world is today, and then you see that he can become the hope that he's supposed to become
Yes.
after his death. So
After
that
his
makes
death,
so much sense.
Exactly.
But you just have to go through these things because there's no good if there's no bad, you cannot appreciate the good. That is a key thing. So the first movie, Man of Steel and this movie, they connect in that way because you see this far more sophisticated way of telling a story. When you see the bad and then you see the good and you can. So this is the second movie, after Man of Steel, so they can. It's enough so they can still kill him and bring him back and start anew. So it really makes sense because you see the reality of his character that is set in present time, how the world is today, and then you see that he can become the hope that he's supposed to become after his.
He also did his homework.
Yeah.
And this is how it works, this way of the hero. Something happens that deconstructs you and then you turn a different person. And actually all of my friends who complained about he's dead now, when they brought him back in the Justice League, they were happy. Because they saw the new Superman, actually, not just because my favorite character is alive. No, they saw the difference, actually.
Yeah.
So that was the whole idea. Not to let's make 3 movies to show this Superman first. Is he again the Cape CGI? Let's see.
No, I think it's the real one. I don't
Great
know
scene
if-
here, actually.
Yeah, it's a great scene, and I don't know if I was Superman, I would probably enter flying, but that would just be like showing off.
Yeah, I think he tried to be, as humble as he can to show these people I'm also a normal person.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Behave as you should. I mean, this ain't no Iron Man. Iron Man would have come here with the bottles and all the things and say, look at me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
well,
I know.
I think he did it in the second one.
Well, Superman did the right thing.
Yeah, let's say.
Because if he flew, they would be so intimidated.
Yeah,
It's all gonna start on the wrong foot.
and they already are.
They already
So,
are, as it is, yeah. And I like how she is handling things. She's still being herself, although Superman is in her presence.
And yet, a jar of peace
And that's
makes her insecure as she
Yeah,
could.
but that is so conniving and evil.
Is it actually a real peace,
Probably is.
I think Lex would have done it, yeah.
He would have done
This
it.
Lex would have done it, yes.
Doesn't matter that it's gonna blow up in 2 seconds. He would have done it totally because it's gonna be blowing up with everybody
Yeah.
here.
It's basically showing off to this senator, yeah, all the things that you told me, that you told me before here,
Yeah.
to remind you to what happens.
That he's still better
Mm.
than her. He's that insecure about himself.
Mm.
The chest hairs are just ugh. But he's ready to blow up his assistant as well.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if the guy in the chair actually knew about it. Or...
No, he didn't. As far as I mean, they're gonna explain it after this.
was it?
Yeah, but he didn't know. He was actually genuinely there.
Why was his mother here? Okay, maybe she was afraid to fall the other people, not just because, not for him.
His mother is just working in the coffee shop.
Yeah, but her face was, oh my god, what happened there? Was it, oh, my son, or is there, or just all those people because he will be okay?
No, she knows that he's gonna be okay, but obviously a huge incident has happened and he is there. So she already thinks, okay, so that's not good for my son's image. I mean, for sure, she can make the connection right away because a huge accident is happening when Superman is there.
Yeah.
So of course she's gonna be worried from that perspective.
Which again, now Lucy's thinking another accident and you were there.
Yeah, exactly. It's just perfect.
And in this cut, they actually do explain that Super, because many people said, but why didn't he solve the bomb in the chair there? And they actually explained it was with LED and he can't see through it.
Well, he said I was not looking, but
Also that. I mean, why would he enter that court looking everything with his X-ray vision?
he's still naive.
Yeah.
He's still naive. He's not experienced still. He's still naive. He just trusts people too much, and he trusts people also because they took Zod's ship, or it's not Zod, the old Kryptonian ship. They built this dome around it, and he never once went there to be like, people, you don't touch this technology. I have to take care of it. What are they going to do with it? What
usually people do with technology.
Yeah, he doesn't think that they're gonna use it for bad things. He has to take care of this thing. I would not leave any technology behind if I was him. I would not.
Yeah, but that Superman is still not
He's
experienced.
still trusting people too much. Too much.
Because he doesn't know that there is someone who pulls the strings to put actually a bomb there, so he just thinks, oh, that's a hearing about things that happen, so I have to be there.
Exactly, because he thinks that nothing can hurt him. He doesn't know if something can, so he does not have any reason to worry. But at the same time, this technology can be developed for a lot of bad things that could hurt a lot of people. So he still has to consider this possibility that even if whatever they can develop with it, if they cannot hurt him, it can hurt somebody else. So he should take the responsibility to pick that ship up and remove all the Kryptonian remaining technology and just put it in the iceberg that he found it.
Yeah, at least
That's
he
what I
found
would
it.
do. Just make sure that whatever place he puts the ship is so far of reach. He can put it under the ocean where no human can reach with any shovel, or not shovel, but Jesus, with any submarine or anything like this. That's what I would do, really. You have to make sure everything is freaking clean there. And how he is not sure that nothing from the ship can hurt him anyway.
Because he's still learning. As we said.
That's why he should make sure that everything is locked far away. That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
it's typical Batman here. I mean,
Yeah.
those are scenes that I missed in any other Batman movie before that. I mean, you never saw Batman doing things like that.
Actually, when I say that this is my favorite Batman, it's also because they show him fully Batman.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like
Batman as you would
Batman
see him in comic books that do things that look realistic, but in comic books they actually work. That's what I always wanted to see in Batman, still. And look how Lex is pretending that he doesn't know what happened because he actually
He's
wanted
so
all those
happy
things to happen,
here.
and now he shows
He's happy. Look at
things
his
of happiness.
face.
Yes.
He's smug.
Although he looks kind of yeah, okay.
He's smug. Superman looks so epic.
He kind of knows that Batman is the only one who can actually use this kryptonite against Superman.
Mm-hmm. He knows how to develop it with his technology.
So it's a great plan, actually. I mean, even let's say it's as good, if not even better, as the plan of Zemo in Civil War, which people used to compare those two plans because it was a villain working, pulling strings there.
Oh, that was
This is
stupid.
even better for me. The other thing was, well,
Oh, that was.
I mean, this Lex has better motivation than Zemo, who was just again, Tony Stark told me I'm an asshole.
Oh, that's
Or
so
something like
on the surface compared to this.
And I mean, they have to open a club with Mysterio and him also because Tony Stark told me that I'm an asshole and he said bad things to me, so I became a villain.
No, literally, guys, you have to know how to differentiate things. Whatever we saw in the Marvel movies is just very on the surface. It's not as deep.
Yeah.
Literally, it's not as deep. Here you see so much, and the motivations you see in every freaking expression that everybody does and Lex does. Yeah, he is a obnoxious prick, but everything that he does is so methodical and you see his deeper nature, that he's this guy that has so much insecurity about himself, and he's also crazy, of course, but there's a lot of things to his character, just so many things. So that's the difference. Whether you just have a guy that feels he's wrong, how that Zemo guy, and just do things, manipulate things in a much more surface way, and here's a just deeper way. Just have to know how to differentiate things. If Zemo was deeper, I would say he is deeper, but he's not.
No.
It's just the evil guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
The only thing that he's missing is the twisting of the mustache.
Somebody told me, well, his actor is German, so he kind of have it, just it's a phantom link.
Yeah.
And it is actually how this scene shows the genius of Lex, actually. That,
Yeah, he took his fingerprints
Yeah.
literally.
He could control that. He's not afraid. He knows, so he can find a thing and create something new from it. I mean, Lex is the only one who can do those things.
Yeah. He still has insecurities that are from his dad.
Yeah.
His dad always had a lot of doubts about him, so he still has this, I have to prove him myself kind of a thing. And we get all of those things by his expressions. You can say so many things just by how he's behaving. That's why I'm saying that this has depth in every aspect of the film. And absolutely everything that you see, there's some kind of a meaning behind it. That's what I like. That's pretty good shot.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole training sequence here and the building of the things.
Yeah.
And still, although he had armpit hair.
Yeah, I know.
So, and still, I wonder why people still have this. Okay. And still, Alfred is on board with all the things. I mean, not on board, but he kind of has to do them, although he knows what happened here is not exactly right.
Yeah.
And still,
Yeah, he
doesn't
still
have a
has
choice.
to do what Bruce tells him.
Mm.
He can say his opinion, but he cannot like stop him. Still has to help him. That's a very bad way to drop a.
Well,
That's
that's
not how you
Batman, you know.
train. That's not how you train.
It's Batman, you know. So it needs to be cool.
I think they want to say that he will do the last rep even if that kills him, so he just can't hold it anymore. He just can't put it back. He doesn't have the strength, so he just drops it
Yeah.
in the most safe way. Holds him.
Now, people said about that scene, why would Rex do the logos of all the icons here, all the characters?
Because he has to mark him some
But why
way.
not? Yeah. I mean,
I would have
that's
do
the movie,
this.
right?
I would have do this logically because I just have to have some kind of a visual cue of who I'm looking at and how I'm associating this person with what I'm associating them with. So I would do that.
Plus, I'm sure that he researched about that Wonder Woman was here way before that.
Yeah, and when you have a corporate mind, you tend to organize things in a particular way. Otherwise, you're gonna get crazy. So if you had a corporate job ever, you will know all of this. They teach you how to organize
Oh
things.
man, I used to work in a call center, so man,
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how this makes sense.
Yeah, and here is actually the photo that shows, because this movie was before
Yeah,
Wonder Woman, that Lex did his homework.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I just love this. It's so
And
awesome.
the image and music. Yeah, I mean that's another great thing about that movie and DCU in general. You have music that when you hear you can instantly recognize with the character. Yes, I mean it wasn't just something that was there. You hear this and you know, oh, Wonder Woman is coming.
Yeah.
Oh, Batman is
You see how wobbly he is?
coming. Yeah. No,
Yeah, you can say that he is. You can tell that he is a silicone figure.
that is actually when he turns into Doomsday, although in comic books Doomsday is different and it's not Zod at all, but okay.
Yeah.
You can actually see how the Doomsday monster has the scar that Zod has. One of those details there. This is also something that people complain that again they introduced Doomsday too early in the movie just to use him as some type of monster, but then again
It makes sense somehow.
it makes sense for this scene.
we are near the best part now.
Right.
And the saddest part as well. It's very sad for me.
The knowledge. Why is there a knowledge there?
I think she's just checking. Yeah. Everything is fresh, that's the point.
Yeah, here is the thing that they say that it's made from lead, so that's why he couldn't see it.
And he still, blamed himself. Even if he was looking.
Yeah. I mean, if he couldn't, he could just swipe him out of their house.
I mean, he should have looked in general, but even if he did, he would not see anything.
Yeah, but as we said, this Superman is still interesting. I mean, I don't think that actually that Christopher Reeve's Superman, if he was there, was going to look again, because he was even more interesting.
Yeah, he was even more naive. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. That's
I
a lot of
actually
things.
forget that he had this scene with him trying to stay alone for a while and going to
Yeah, is
like
that
a
like...
pilgrimage things. Still a great moment with Kevin Costner here.
Yeah, although how can we explain this moment?
I think it's something like, let's say, he kind of looks into himself and remembers what would his father
Would say? What his father
would
would
say, yes. And because he's going somewhere to be alone and a bit just with himself, and usually when you have a moment like that, you can have these, let's say, thoughts and feelings that will point you to it. That's why sometimes we need a moment like that. And probably that's something like a manifestation. I mean, we don't need to look at the logical way. Just him staying with himself, and probably this is what should happen when you look inside yourself to find the answers, and just his father, he is a representation of that. Here will just look inside yourself and you find it.
Exactly.
In the form of his father. And it's actually this father, not his Kryptonian father, who...
Well, his Kryptonian father did not raise him.
Yeah.
Although he's a cool guy and all.
Although he still didn't point him in that direction that you can help them, he was kind of steering him more to you can be something better. And that's why actually he has to be with this family to show him that no, you can help.
Well, his family on Earth is his inside perspective, because I mean that is what it is to be born on Earth. That's the inside, and the outside perspective is his other family.
Yeah.
He has to have both in order to function, because he is both. He's not only the one thing.
Here we see that something also happened with the Wayne Manor. It's not just, no, we just left it here.
Yeah. That's why I would love to see a sequel when this Batman is in his younger years, when this manor is still not burned out, when he had Robin, when he had the other Joker, the Joker killed Robin, all those things I want to see.
Yeah, but you know it won't be with Affleck because he can't play a younger version of this one.
They can just make him younger with technology, how they made Robert Downey Jr.
Can they make full-length movie?
Yeah, of course they can. Well, it's not a... You know what they did with that Irishman movie? They developed entirely new technology where the older actors just played themselves without any dots, and they had a lot of cameras that had dots. They developed this technology where the cameras themselves have dots that scan the actor's face in all angles and all the time, so they were not filmed with one camera for one scene. They were filmed with this whole like how is this word for it? Like a gimbal,
Mm-hmm.
and the gimbal had a lot of cameras on it, and they all
Nice.
filmed their faces in different angles, so they don't have to wear the dots. And they just did everything, after that in post
Oh, so they
processing.
actually can do that.
They took pictures of how all the actors looked when they were younger, and from their older movies, and they decided to make this whole image of how not the actor but the character will look like in his younger years. So they also had a perspective of the character that the actor portrays, how he's gonna look, not only the actor in his younger years. So they got the most accurate picture. That is amazing technology. It
Nice.
was developed for this movie, for the Irishman. So if
So
they
they can
want,
use it for everything.
they can, yeah.
So just a matter of after stop drinking. I think he actually stopped.
He has a
He
new
is
young
trying.
girlfriend.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Should have
that's
stopped then. Okay.
he does have a 20 or something girlfriend, so
Nice.
he can be her dad, I think.
What?
He's that young.
He's Ben Affleck.
No, if he's in shape and he's sustaining himself, he's still a good looking guy, of course. He's always been.
Here is where now all the things get together.
Yeah.
And again, that Alex knows that he needs both Lois and Quark's mother for these things to work.
Yeah. It's once again, it's super evil. So it's
Yeah.
extremely consistent character. You know how there's a lot of stories, movies like The Last of Us, for instance, now, that it's just not consistent. What you see there with the characters, just not consistent with their image at all. You see a character in the cutscene and you see it in the game, and it's just not the same person. It's complicated, but you see that each and every character is consistent with who they are. They are staying true to themselves, so that's awesome.
And this shows that actually Alex knows who Quark is.
Yeah,
Clearly, because he knows, okay, I need this and this, which are his two weaknesses.
Well, I think it's for sure that he knew from the beginning everything. He knew everybody's nature, everybody's weaknesses, everybody's interests, who they're connected to, how they relate to each other, and he just did all of those
So
things.
this starts from the moment that a meta human appeared in this world, so because he researched and all the others Wonder Woman from them.
Yeah,
He knew about them.
but he can't predict what Wonder Woman will do, that she was gonna be there. He doesn't have a counter for her yet.
Yeah. I think he focused mostly on these two guys. Because he's probably feeling most insecure because of Superman.
Yeah.
Maybe the others he thinks, they're still not. They haven't opened up so much. I mean, by that point, still Aquaman was just somewhere there drinking and other things. Whereas Wonder Woman was into hiding.
Yeah.
The Flash was stopping thieves in in shops. So.
And besides, he knew that those two guys are so acting on their own. Usually, they're such a solo guys. It makes no sense for them to team up with anybody without him knowing. So Wonder Woman just being sneaky there just was like a third element that he maybe didn't predict, I don't think. But she still didn't stop Superman from dying, so...
Still, he couldn't predict that the two of them will become kind of friends because of Martha. So.
Yeah, and...
Probably he didn't know that Batman's mom was called Martha also.
Well, he kind of made sure with Doomsday, because, Doomsday is so powerful that even if Wonder Woman shows up, nothing stops Doomsday.
Yeah, so he had this contingency in plan. It's not just I'm going to write on the Russian guy with a flamethrower. So.
Yeah.
This moment kind of reminds me of the Superman animated series when there was some terrorist on a plane and Worf was there and
Yeah.
he said, "Who are you, Worf?" And the one that Superman always saves.
Yeah.
And he was there.
That's a classical moment. Lois falling from a building, Superman, saves her. That's literally a classic.
Yeah.
Oh no! Don't show yourself to other people. That's
I think there is nobody there. It's kind of empty.
How nobody is there? It's this huge city.
things are happening. Or maybe it's late at night.
Take you without breaking you. Which is more than you deserve.
Now that's the thing that explains why he did everything. Why would Lex actually do all those things? Because he actually thinks about, God is just something that is made there to control you and to have something above you.
Yeah.
He has no understanding of that whatsoever. And he still is kind of bitter that God didn't help him to get rid of his father hitting him and all that thing, And that's the misconception of God, that he thinks, oh God, why do you do this to me? My father must do this to me? But it's your challenge, actually. So that's why God gives this to you, to become something different. And it depends if you are going to turn to Lex Luthor or the Joker or whatever.
That's
Or
the
actually
free
going to do
will
something
aspect
else. Yes,
of the nature of our existence in general, but people don't get that. They
Yeah.
think that God's supposed to do everything better, so if he doesn't, he's evil or he doesn't
He's
exist.
evil, yes, and he's the biggest villain in the world.
Yeah,
because
no one thinks that he wants to teach us something.
Mhm,
No one
mhm.
thinks that.
Yeah.
Ever. No
Exactly.
development in mind, no lessons to learn, nothing. Everything,
Nothing, yes.
if it's bad, it's just bad.
It's
There's
just
no
bad.
nuance to it. There's no reason for it. It's just bad and senseless. And God is just idiot or just doesn't exist.
No, or if he exists, he doesn't care about us, because bad things happen to me all the time.
Yeah, bad things have no reason to them.
But let's see why. Yes, usually when people say that, I want everything to be, I want things to happen, but only nice. And I say, but if they're only nice, how are you going to learn?
Never. You're not going to learn.
I want to do things with no effort. I had a colleague who said that, I want to do new things with no effort. And I said, but you're supposed to have an effort, otherwise why are you doing the new things?
Why are you even living?
Why
if there's no
yeah.
effort? Why are you even existing? Yeah. Just gonna be so bored
Yeah.
by everything.
And that's the thing behind Alex, actually. He does all those things because he knows, you think you're a god and you're better than us and things like that.
Yeah.
But if you are, why did God let all those things happen? Why God let the virus to be out there now? Because we need to learn. So usually when people say that, I want everything to be, I want things to happen, but only nice. And I say, but if they're only nice, how are you going to learn?
Never. You're not going to learn.
I want to do.
He dropped on his knees, like literally, just to see the pictures.
Yeah.
He dropped the Superman act, so to speak, in that moment.
Yeah, and it shows that I'm still a son.
Mm-hmm.
But he still knows, actually, he tries to reason with Batman there, just when they do fight.
Yeah, because he's a good person.
Yeah.
So nobody sees that Superman is a good person. He knows that although Batman does things that he doesn't agree with, the way that he does it, his methods, he doesn't agree with his methods, but he knows that Batman does do everything that he does to save people, to help people.
And here he understood that Batman also did other things because he was also manipulated.
Yeah.
By Lex.
So now Superman knows something that Batman does not know. He knows what Lex did.
But Batman is doing what most people actually do when you try to say something to them, they just wouldn't listen and say,
I already
let's
know
fight.
everything
I
about
already
you.
know everything about you, yes.
I know everything. So.
Yeah. I used to have, I had a friend who once told me, I know many things about you, so don't even try to tell me. And I said, oh, you know many things about me, nice.
Wow.
Even I don't know them. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
He knows you better than you know yourself.
Nice, yeah.
You don't know yourself.
Good, right?
You're not yourself.
No.
You're someone else, probably.
I usually say, well, I still try to learn things about me, so good for you that you already learned them.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see how they will connect Wonder Woman 1984 now with
With all of that.
With all that in terms of what happened in '84, so that she tried to hide herself after that from the
Yeah.
world. If they actually try that, maybe they'll just say, ah.
Yeah, we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah.
I hope it's connected.
Yeah, that's actually kind of right. But again, it depends on the person.
Yeah, you cannot say no one.
Mm.
Because his assumption is based on the evilest of evil, which is Lex in this case. So he cannot judge by this because it's an obvious manipulation. So
Yeah.
people are not evil sometimes because they're evil, but they're evil because they're misled and they were too quick to judge. So basically, their behavior is based on their flawed nature, how they usually react to things instead of thinking. That doesn't mean that they're initially evil. It means that they're kind of unaware and they're just ignorant.
Yeah. That's it.
That's the problem. Ignorance leads to being evil in a direct way when you're not even seeing how that happened. But
And that's why people think that the world is getting nuts and even more nuts, and everything with all the people now are bad and everything is like that.
yeah,
They also don't turn to your expectations. I mean, you expect them to behave in one way, and when they don't, we say, all the people are bad. They're horrible creatures. We are horrible creatures.
yeah.
Which is not true.
It's just ignorance that is the
Yeah,
problem.
Yeah, that's it.
And critical thinking, acting on emotion, all of those things.
Oh, I kind of liked the Flash with that longer hair. I don't know why. He looked way different, and I said, "Yeah, okay." But apparently, Barry Allen got a haircut after.
Yeah. I'm annoyed how they just took Ezra Miller's look and acted. Tried to emphasize that instead of doing what they're supposed to do. The actor's supposed to play the character, not the opposite way.
Yeah.
But it's like the opposite way.
Most of the time they do it, actually.
I just hate that.
The only way that this works if you take The Rock, who can play himself in any movie and it's still fun.
Yeah.
But that's him. He has this charisma. Ezra Miller doesn't.
Ezra Miller is totally different.
You know that the guy who played Miles Warren for Terminator 2, basically the guy who created Skynet, plays the father of Cyborg.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Right?
That's crazy, yeah.
And this scene here with Cyborg is actually really, and to look how he stays there and imagine what he had to go through. And even him as a father, most people get a real crap on Cyborg's father, but imagine if you have to rebuild your son.
That is terrible.
Actually, yeah.
Horrifying.
Yeah. And he had to do it in Doom Patrol, the show, when once you get there, they do show these parts because Cyborg is there.
And how is the Boxer building him in the exact way?
This is in the New 52 in the comic books there. He is connected with that because of the boom tube explodes in him. And that's why his father decides, so I can connect this energy that is still with him to
It's already
to use
connected.
the technology, yes, to build him. In the original comic books, it's not like that, but in the New 52, it's connected with the boom tube, so that's why they went this route here, so that they can connect him in him controlling the boxes in Justice League, I think. And maybe in the Cutwheels.
Okay, that makes sense. Otherwise, the technology in the box has nothing to do with any human, let alone with this particular human. But if it's connected initially, that
Yeah, in Doom Patrol, for example, is origin closer to his original origin. Kinda, but still. They don't have the boom tubes there.
Okay, that's so cool.
And he tries to reason with him, but Batman is the one who doesn't. This is usually when you have to. You know that you made a mistake, you try to explain, you try to make the other person explain, but the other person is like a child who doesn't want to listen. I recently had things like that with my mom. I said something, and usually moms are like that you can never say nothing bad and things like that. they won't listen after that, and she wouldn't listen after that. I mean, I worked on the things that I said. I can come after that to say, you know, now let's talk. Oh, no, I don't want to.
Eh,
And I kind of felt like, so this is how Superman felt in that beginning.
Yeah.
I am trying to do something, but you don't want to listen. So
Yeah.
it is a real situation, I think.
It's like an echo chamber or something.
Exactly. I mean, there is two sides. One side is trying to make a listen, the other doesn't want to listen.
Yeah.
And it's normal after that even for Superman to start fighting, because you will get angry if the other person doesn't want to hear what you have to say, now that you have something like an explanation.
It's
Plus-
just so frustrating. He's already frustrated.
Yeah.
And that is the lightest way he could have thrown him.
Yeah.
The lightest, like the most easy.
I mean, yeah, that suit doesn't stop all that much. I mean,
He's not even trying to really hurt him. It's just a bit. Well, now he's trying. Now that is
well,
really.
at least you make him stop for a moment so he can tell him all the things.
Yeah, I don't know how he is even conscious.
Well, that costume is a version of the costume that he had in the Dark Knight Returns again, in which they two fight, but then they fight for different reasons. But it's inspired from there.
In the comic book, I mean.
Yeah.
That sounded like the movies, which never happened before in the movies.
And actually, how comic booky everything looks like, even the rainfalls.
Oh,
Kind
jeez.
of like, you know, in the city looks everything glowing and things like that.
Oh, and
Great.
here's the first moment that is really hurting me inside. Because I don't want to see Superman in this state at all.
This is how some of my other friends felt when they said, "No, you can't kill and fight my favorite character." No Batman, it's kryptonite.
It's
not-
kryptonite, yes.
This is a great moment that we see here because he doesn't know about the kryptonite, so for Superman that's a surprise.
Yeah,
What happened?
he can now feel
Mm.
the hits.
And pretty much Batman is the only person who know how to hit and where to hit after.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
And most people don't understand again the training montage before that. They say, so he's going to fight Superman, but by just putting some tires, couldn't he just train? I mean, he just trained.
He trained.
Yeah.
But Batman is professional in fighting anyway, so
Yeah.
he's just doing his usual training
Usual
because
training, yes.
he cannot stay in shape if he doesn't,
Mhm.
no
It's
matter
not
how good of a fighter he
especially
is.
for Superman. Yeah, we're going to fight and I have to pull now in weightlifting. I think they just show his usual training.
Yeah. And now he's getting the kryptonite wears off.
A bit, but he's still weak.
Yeah, he's still weak, but he did feel
Not as weak
better.
as he should be, yeah. He is getting stronger.
Yes. That's awesome. I love this. Oh, Batman was gonna piss his pants in this moment.
Maybe he has a filter in the costume.
Maybe like Iron Man.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no way he is conscious after this.
Well, maybe the helmet kind of protects.
I don't know how that's.
And this is actually a moment in which we get the white eyes, like in the comic books, because without helmet they can do it.
Yeah, I love the white eyes. No. Don't breathe. Don't breathe. Don't.
Maybe it also can get to the skin.
Not the sink. Not the sink.
This is literally the phrase he bring everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah, well, he brought it.
Yeah.
Still don't have blood though.
Maybe because the sink can't do it. Or the movie was rated something.
Oh,
Was it?
no, because you see that he shoots guys. I mean, you
Yeah,
know
but
the-
there was no blood. Yeah, in the Africa scene, there was some blood, but I think it's as far as that they can show if it's PG.
But there was a lot of blood in that.
Well, it's not the boys level. But,
Oh wait, but we are watching the director's cut.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants here, basically.
Well,
can
he
do
didn't
that.
want to.
Yeah. He's saying that he's getting hurt, but that doesn't mean that his skin is pierced yet.
They did actually show a clear winner here in the movie. I mean, it was Batman, at least in that battle. In
Yeah.
comic books, they never show a clear winner when they have to fight, or it's always either one of them is mind controlled or something, or things like that.
Yeah,
Or
but
just
Superman
different
is
universes.
extremely inexperienced. He's
Yeah.
so inexperienced, and he's so worried about his mom.
The boys level. But,
Oh wait, but we are watching the director's cut.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants here, basically.
Well,
can
he
do
didn't
that.
want to.
Yeah. He's saying that he's getting hurt, but that doesn't mean that his skin is pierced yet.
They did actually show a.
He will scan for the kryptonite, first of all.
Yeah. But now that he knows about it,
Yeah.
it's different.
Although the kryptonite is probably gonna be in lead or something, so he
Mhm.
cannot see it. But he can still take Batman somewhere and just kill him in the air. Or just pick him up or just throw him like this. That's enough.
Well, he did it in Justice League, so. Just threw him away.
Well, I mean, if he wanted to kill him, he could just throw him a lot further away. Why did you do this?
To show him that he bleeds.
Yeah, I guess. What a jerk.
Now it's time for that scene that nobody understands with
Yeah.
why did you say that name and things like that. I mean, because what would happen if he just tell him save my mom? Why would he care about his mom and things like that? I mean, Martha is literally the word that triggers what happened to Bruce. Like,
Yeah.
what was this war thing that? How was it? PTSD. What was it?
PTSD?
Yes, I mean, Batman has this from that experience. So I think that Martha is actually the word that triggers this and make him to remember things that he forgot.
Yeah.
Once that.
That makes him stop, first of all.
Yeah. It's not just because as most people think, oh, his mom is called Martha and your mom is called Martha, and how do you become instant friends? Because it's deeper than this. He thinks that he's still talking about his mom.
And he doesn't know that that's Quark,
Mm-hmm.
first of all.
Plus, this Quark now is almost beaten to death. I mean, he would just say things like
Yeah.
save Martha,
It's a good thing that Lois is here to save the day.
which actually shows that, you know, Lois has bigger role than just the reporter. That's why she's his anchor, you know, and that's why he would go crazy if she's not there.
Yeah.
As it happens in maybe the Snyder Cut after that. But this is the moment that actually shows that he said it before that you were never human, but now he knows that he has a mom. And that, oh, so you are actually a human and you have mom, like
Yeah.
I had.
Yeah.
And yours is still alive, and I swear that I will do those things so that
Nobody can get hurt the
loses.
same way.
Yeah,
And
and that's the thing about the Martha scene. Just most people are, oh, you said Martha and blah, blah.
Yeah, he just realizes that when he's doing this to Superman, an innocent woman is getting killed.
Mm-hmm. And he turned into something that he swore to fight against.
Yeah, so that woman is extremely important.
The starship seems to be drawing power from the city. It's hurting Legacy.
And he understands his mistakes. And now that they both know that they were manipulated, now it's time to actually trust each other.
And now it's time to act quickly and not be, little kids. They already were.
So tell me about your mom. Why is she called Martha? No, let's
Yeah, let's
go
just
to action.
drink the coffee and just talk about
Yeah,
it.
of course.
Just take our
Yeah.
time.
You know, my mom works in a coffee shop. Okay, she works later, yeah.
Yeah.
It's time for one of the best Batman scenes ever. As a friend of mine said, this is like the biggest Stolo-Chulin fight ever.
It's great.
I also thought at one moment, why would she take that? Okay.
No, she doesn't want to.
She actually threw it away somewhere, yes.
Yeah. She thought that that's gonna help Superman. If I were Lois, I would take that thing, hide it, then pick it up later, then destroy it. So Superman cannot be hurt, of course.
This is also a great looking Batplane.
Batwing?
Or Batwing, as some people call it, yes. Unlike the thing that I forget how was it called in The Dark Knight Rises, which looked like something that, a dog chew from putty or something, and then it didn't look like a Batplane at all. He had one of those in The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, yeah. I remember now. But, I just resent those movies, so I tend to forget how things look there.
Well, ugly.
Yeah, like the
Basically
Tumblr.
ugly, yeah.
This is made practical.
Great moment here that you can see, like, again, like a comic book thing that
It's awesome.
he looks like the end. And he draws away himself like that with a cape in comic books, and it's always great drawings.
And it's just great imagery. Imagery.
And Snyder is great in actually
Exactly what is
bringing
great.
imagery like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Perfect. They're waiting for him at the door, but
No Batman in other movies fought like that. I mean, Keaton's Batman was fighting okay, as far as his costume
allows him, which is
allows
very
him.
wooden.
But
and
it still
limited.
was not how Batman fights.
Yeah, this is how Batman fights.
Bale's one didn't fight at all. It was just just some blocking stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
It's really slow, but this is how he fights. Like in the Arkham games, actually. When I saw how he fights in the Arkham games, they say Batman fights exactly like that.
Exactly
It should
like
be
this.
like that.
Yeah. Those people look perfectly like goons, which is great.
It's kind of interesting when they put advertisements for that. We need goons for the superhero movie, and you say, "Well, I have a face like a goon, so."
Yeah, perfect.
Nice. I like that move here. It kind of reminds me of a wrestling move.
Blood.
Yes, here it is. This Asian guy was actually kind of relentless. I like him. No, he never stopped.
Yeah, he was determined.
Yeah, it reminds me of one Asian guy in Matrix 2, in a scene when he was fighting, and there was one who he maybe fought 3 times and he never stopped. This guy is the same.
Oh.
That move I also like. Yes.
So brutal. It just shows how Batman's costume is equipped, because he's gonna get in exactly these situations. He has to be prepared.
You don't need to see the realistic armor of the thing. You can just show the costume to look cool and to know, oh, it's somewhere under it.
Yeah. The guy actually managed to stop him, I think, a
For a
bit.
moment, yeah. As I said, that Asian guy.
Ooh, he stopped him in the shoulder, the same place, I think, where he was stabbed, which is great.
Never had better looking Batman.
Never.
That's Batman. And now they start to feel afraid.
Very uneasy.
And she's not afraid. I mean, she knows it's not her son, but she's not afraid. I mean, she kind of feels cold.
Uh-oh. That guy's gonna blow.
With a flamethrower. Just at the blink of an eye. That's Batman would do.
Everybody that has a cape, a friend
Yeah,
of my son.
Yeah.
She's a great Martha.
Yeah.
She's just a
Goldie
perfect
Goldie
Martha.
Hawn, I think it was her name.
No!
Wasn't it?
Jesus
What was her name?
Christ! That's not Goldie Hawn.
What was her
Do you
name?
know who
Who
Goldie
was
Hawn
it?
is?
The other person that was the senator.
Goldie Hawn has not played.
Okay, what was her name?
That's this freaking of. Jesus, I forgot also, but. Goldie Hawn is a blonde, very funny actress. She's only in
Ah, yeah,
comedies.
yeah.
The last movie was with Danny Schumer.
She had a last movie. But what was this woman's name?
Ah,
Because I saw her in a movie a couple of months ago when she was younger, and I said, "Hey, that's Martha."
But she actually is younger. In general, they just make her look old here.
Really?
Yeah, she doesn't look
So
like
that
that.
movie was something from the 90s that I watched with her.
That's another, yeah, that could be another story, but she's not that old as she looks
Oh,
here.
nice. So even better.
I don't hate the sick. I hate the sick. Yours, okay, is existing. Cannot
It actually shows here how Lex thinks that everything he does is actually right,
Yeah,
which is the biggest thing for the villain. I mean, if you have a villain who thinks whatever I'm doing is because it's good, and I truly believe it's good,
yeah, but no.
then, yeah.
Oh, that's the Anne Lane.
Ah, yeah, okay.
The Anne
Exactly.
Lane.
Yes. Now, I always wondered how far away from each other are actually Metropolis and Gotham in that universe. Oh, so she looks like that now.
Yeah, she doesn't look as old. She's 55, but yeah, here was like 50 something.
I think his mom has to be kind of
Wait
like
a
that.
second, guys.
Phone call.
Yes, that. Jeez.
I wonder if he actually, when he saw him the first time, recognized that this is Zod and Alex has done something wrong with it, or he was
Oh, I
just
don't think
surprised.
he can recognize anything. He doesn't look recognizable. You have to just look at Zod and then look at him and then be like, oh yeah, there's something there. It's very little.
He does have that ability, like in the comic books, when you hurt him more, he has this bomb.
Jeez.
I wonder if he actually, when he saw him the first time, like,
Evolving, yeah.
because in comic books he's actually like artificially created Kryptonians who survive in any type of environments, and they try again and again with the, from babies they put it into different environments to see how it will work, and Doomsday is the first one of all the babies that actually survive.
Jesus, so that means that he can survive even on Krypton.
Yeah.
And he has superpowers there where Superman will not have any powers there.
Yeah, I think something like that.
Well, that's very game changing.
Yeah.
And that's why he's so strong.
Well, that's why he kills him in the comic.
Yeah.
Because they needed literally to create someone who can kill Superman to adapt from all the.
And with beating, not with kryptonite. But with
Yes.
literally so strong that he can beat him to death.
And to become stronger and stronger. That's why in the comic book skill he has the bones even here, like the earth and any places
Yeah.
that you can see in the comic book, like he evolves from all the fights.
I don't think he can do that though in the comic.
No, but that's the sometimes that you need to put some bigger power to the villain so that it's even bigger threat to the city. But I think
Yeah.
that's the indication that he evolves here with the electricity thing, because after that he looks different sometimes.
He basically takes in the energy like food. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Superman then returns and does kill him, right?
In the comic books,
Doomsday, yeah.
he kills him in the comic book. Just both of them hit each other so hard that both of them die.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I just remembered the animation
Yeah.
because that was kind of recently. He killed him, but he just died from exhaustion,
Yeah,
basically,
because
from all the
it
hits.
was all his strength gathered in that one hit. Just
Yeah.
Doomsday also hits him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He does return later in comic books than in Doomsday. But
Doomsday?
Yeah, they just play with the idea many times. He also had appearance in Small. There was a guy that transformed into Doomsday, as far as I remember.
That
Yeah.
was probably ridiculous.
Well, yeah, because Superman wasn't still Superman.
Yeah, it was very ridiculous then.
Yeah. But yeah, other people were complaining, why using him now so early? Actually, you don't need him later. I mean, Doomsday is not a villain, but... I mean, it's a creature that fights and evolves, but you don't need him for a bigger plot or something. He can be just that.
Yeah,
He's not
he's
going to make
literal
a...
death.
Yeah.
I mean, all he does is death and destruction, so he's that. That's the point of him.
Yeah, he was literally created to kill Superman. They needed here Superman to die, so it's logical to put Doomsday here, because
Yeah.
who else can do it? Sure, it's a different origin that Lex is creating him,
But it's the same purpose.
yeah, I mean, what is not different origin in those movies? So,
Although what was Lex's plan, that maybe they were gonna kill each other, because what he's going to do with Doomsday if he's alive after this fight?
yeah, I
He's
don't
gonna
think he
destroy everything.
thought through that actually. He just wanted Superman to die because he said that now a god is as good as death. He just needed a god killer in that case. No, I think they said that this guy is supposed to be Martian Manhunter. I'm not sure if it was that character that he played.
Oh, that
But
comic.
they said that they had plans for something like that. Originally.
I would like
in
that.
the-
He's
in
a
the
great
cuts.
actor for this as
Yeah.
well.
Here are some of the films.
Damn it, so now he became more powerful. Like a lot more.
And here this time no damage because they put him. And this again is from the Dark Knight Returns, the comic book in which actually there was something like nuclear rockets there the Superman had to stop, and because of the radiation that he got, he looked like that.
He took in all the radiation at once.
Yeah, and he looked like a skeleton, and he they show his hand on flowers, and the flowers
Is
are
that
dead. Yeah, and after that he comes back because of the sun.
yeah? And he
So-
absorbs the sun radiation much faster when he's out
Yeah.
in
So it's
space.
something again from that comic book, like many of the things. Even Batman's entire look is from the Dark Knight Returns comic book.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't read it, you know the best option is the animated adaptations. They had 2 movies, which are great adaptations.
If you have any left. This deer, after this deer, is pure protection.
Why did he make only 3 gas bombs in Krypton and not more?
You gotta get to chase me. Back to sea. That's protection.
Batman looks so cool when he just talks to Alfred in the screen. You know how the shot is. His jawline is so cool with the mask.
Now, if he didn't have those guns installed on his butt wing before
He
that,
will be useless.
yeah. So,
Completely.
so people see he has to be ready for everything, even using that. If he needs. Yes, here is the scene from the comic books. It's actually, I mean, Snyder open and say, okay, this scene we're doing.
Oh, yes. This is just epic. I love it.
And still, both cities feel like Gotham and Metropolis. They don't feel like Chicago or New York or something more. I mean, there are some buildings that look, okay, this is something typical for Gotham that you can see.
Yeah, it's enough.
Best moments ever.
Oh yeah. So awesome.
I think, yeah, that's the thing that Lex actually didn't
Predict.
predict that is going to happen.
This whole island is totally wrecked.
Good thing that nobody lives there.
Yeah, it's such
Like
a good
when they
thing.
censored anime in English, usually they said, you know, the villain destroys the whole city, but in the dub, in the Japanese one, no, but in the English one, they say, good thing it was Sunday and nobody's in the city.
Yeah.
So
Lois is gonna do super stuff.
I like swimming.
Yeah.
Nice.
This creature seems to fit on everything.
And how can you complain now when you see actually the Trinity in one shot here? So people still complain.
Even this line is awesome
Mm.
because she's like the third element
Yeah.
that nobody predicted is
And,
gonna
and it's still
appear.
great line because you didn't fill all the movie with stupid lines that are supposed to make fun of things all the time.
Yeah.
You only have 1 or 2.
And she's independent. That's the point. She's not with anyone. She's with
Yeah.
herself. She's on her own, acting.
And this,
on her
guys, is not feminism. We just call it independence. But still.
Yeah, she's her own person. She doesn't have to be with anybody.
Yeah.
She's doing her own thing literally. Lois just killed herself,
Yeah.
like usual.
Looking for the spirit.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, she would have killed herself 10 times by now with her work and the situations that she's getting herself in all the time.
Yeah, she's actually traveling to. It's not just reporting from. Today there was a dog show in Metropolis.
She's literally risking her life all the time.
This jump always looked as if it's a game or something. You know, I think in Wolverine, the game, they were jumping like that. Remember?
Maybe it's just the shot that you're
Yeah,
associating it with. Oh, that was an awesome shot. When Wonder Woman is CGI, she's more muscular than when
Aha.
she's Gal Gadot. She's literally more muscular in those shots. You can see that even if you're not looking, it's obvious.
Great fight scene here. I mean, Snyder does know how to do those things.
Perfect.
You know, I have never watched Sucker Punch.
Really?
This movie.
I did.
No,
It was terrible.
probably. But
Yeah.
it looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks awesome all the time. We did the movie is very depressing, and that's why I didn't like it because it was just too dark for me, and very unsettling and creepy. And yeah.
So we can do that sometime.
No, no, please don't. No, I don't want to do this to myself. And this is my favorite soundtrack ever.
Yeah.
Just look at that thing.
I always wonder, does it hurt when you get those things from your eyes and you have to make them even stronger?
I think that it does hurt. I think that they kind of mentioned it somewhere. Bravo, Lois. But she did what she could.
At least she was close by.
Well, he can get to her anyway.
Yeah.
Very fast.
But if Buddy was here, he was going to save her also and probably say a stupid joke like, why are you trying to swim when you can?
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
How Barry's gonna lift that off of her? That's a different question. He's like, oh boy,
yeah.
I have to grab onto
Time to
something.
split, that's also from the comic book.
Yeah, I know.
But that's actually a moment that shows against threats like that, Batman is, well, it's Batman.
Still gonna do something.
Well, yeah.
Now he's gonna drown.
Well, she saved him, so they are even now. For
Yeah,
this saving, because he saved her more times.
of course, of course. I just like how they show that as far as humans go, Lois is as capable as possible in these kind of situations.
Mhm.
It's not like she can't do anything. She's doing what any human can do in the situation.
Yeah. Which is why most of the time actually people can't associate with Superman and with Batman because they think, oh, he's human. And I can see myself more like him, but then you try them to, let's try to do this then, and no, I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, Batman. Okay.
Oh, I just like what Wonder Woman did here, but unfortunately,
Did it regenerate? I forgot.
it's gonna
Yes,
do more
because-
bad than good.
Yeah. You know, we could always do Hulk versus Doomsday. Would be interesting research to do.
Ooh.
Right? Because they always said, though, but what if Hulk versus Superman? Which is also an interesting one.
There's a CG animation in
Oh,
the
yeah,
internet with Christopher
With
Reeve's
Christopher
face.
Reeves, yes.
It's just amazing. I do think that Superman would win against
Well,
Hulk.
he wins against Goku, so
Yeah, he should win against
twice.
Hulk. I just wish that Superman could have just thrown that.
Or, give it to someone who can, but still.
Like Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
But she has
she's
to
using
hold him now.
wasp, yeah. And Batman shot the grenade here, so.
Yeah, bravo to Batman.
Maybe from Gotham.
From Gotham, yeah. Actually, this would have worked. The only thing that was not predicted is the spike.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
he was tied down, so Superman would not know that he's gonna get stabbed. But then he got stabbed here.
Maybe if he knew it, I think he didn't care. So, because now at that point he knew, okay, this is what I have to do no matter what happens.
Yeah. Dead here.
I think it's still some strength left. But
That is through his freaking chest. He has no heart at the moment.
yeah, but the hope is there, so. The crest, I mean, so.
Yeah.
I think they made a hit on that in the new animation, the Man of Tomorrow. In the trailer, there was somebody asking what DS stands for. Superman,
Yeah, I know.
right? And they said, "Oh, you dirty guys."
You dirty guys, yeah. Well, this is totally fatal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brutal. It's brutally fatal. He has a hole in his chest. That's just horrible for me. Just can't see Superman so
Yeah,
far.
that's why a lot of people went out of the cinemas very sad because
I
but
cried.
that's the effect that we need to have. I mean, when it happened in comic books, people were also sad and they wore these black bands with the Superman logo on them that DC was selling because they said that looks fine. So,
Yeah, that's another.
so it is giving the effect because everybody knew that he's going to come back. I had a friend who didn't believe me. I told him, Henry Cavill has a contract for the Justice League. He's going to be there. You can't have Justice League without Superman. When I see it, I will believe it. And I said, "Oh, what is this now? Seeing Jesus? How he's coming back or what?" I mean, he had a freaking contract
He
there.
has a contract. He has a contract.
Yeah,
Henry
I mean-
Cavill is alive,
Yeah. So,
He's
kinda.
alive, so he can just play Superman
Yeah,
again.
I mean, and they said it also, but no, he didn't believe me. I said, okay. Now, they tried to hide it, I think, because in promotional posters they didn't put him anywhere with the others of Justice League. But
After that, they did.
after that they did,
After
because
that they
they
did.
found out the mistake that there are people who don't believe that he was going
Yeah.
to be. But still, it's as if saying, I don't know if Tom Holland will be the next Spider-Man because of what happens with Marvel. He does have the contract, which
Yeah.
it's not always sure that he will be there.
And how is a Justice League movie without Superman?
With which? Without Superman.
Yeah, I mean
Well-
for them, for their logic, from their perspective.
Yeah, I mean,
What they do think that how that's gonna work?
that he's not going to be just there.
No,
And the logic was, if he's not there, I'm not going to watch it.
it's Justice League.
So
He's
it's
there.
Justice League, he needs to be there. I mean,
Yeah, kind of the head of Justice League, so to speak.
yeah. I mean, there are versions of it without him, but you're not going to do it in the first Justice League movies. You kind of need him there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in comic books, he returns. So
Still, he's not there. He's still not
I
there.
know.
No. Oh, here's that.
Yeah, he is the original vision of Steppenwolf with the boxes.
How can they have this, but then totally change it for Justice League? Maybe this is kind of
Because
like
they-
a apparition or something.
Totally changed the way of what they were planning. I think they were just said, let's just do a movie.
Maybe you can explain it like he was not really here. This was his some kind
No,
of
I think
avatar.
it was a hologram or something.
Yeah, his avatar. He can look a different way.
And that's why actually Lex here even looks and starts to behave a bit different because he has seen what is coming and that actually plans are bigger. I think that Lex actually watched the Snyder Cut there.
Yeah, he knows.
So he,
does
yeah,
know. He
this is
knows.
how the movie was going to be.
Yeah. He knows.
Mhm.
He knows everything. I mean, that's why in the Snyder, the trailer that they released, you hear Lex,
Mhm.
how he's
Yeah.
saying what's coming. He knew.
Do they still shave prisoners yet in prison? It was just to have him.
I don't know.
I think these typical statues that are actually indicating it's Metropolis.
Mhm.
It's not like in the Nolan trilogy where it was Chicago.
Mhm.
And a friend of mine said, but they had the gigantic train there that is in the comics. And he said, yeah, but it feels like Chicago still.
Well, both Metropolis and Gotham feel like those cities.
They
supposed to
are
feel.
inspired. Metropolis is supposed to be in New York, and Gotham was just actually, I think Detroit even or something like that, because it's a city that most people connect with ruins. I don't know why. I've never been there.
I mean, yeah.
Detroit or Chicago most of the times, but still it needs to look a bit more gothic and
Zack Snyder's wife. Deborah
Oh.
Snyder.
Is that her?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Deborah Snyder just passed.
To have her older.
Oh, I guess she
No,
has.
that's a nice camera.
Yeah, that's the guy from Man of Steel.
Oh yeah.
The priest.
Yeah. Yes.
That Clark spoke to.
Oh, look, yeah. There are actually many Easter eggs that here if you watch carefully. So, hey, Kevin Costner.
I cried here a lot.
Well, it's a moment that.
I was like, tears in the cinema, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything.
Were you wearing the waterproof makeup again? Or?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
nice. Because you knew that Superman is dying.
well, actually, I didn't know that. I mean, I don't remember if I knew.
Hmm.
I just don't remember.
And still, you can see how the two of them actually glued to each other. This happened in comic books actually. After his death, they really became even closer.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the love for him brings them together, of course.
Yeah. And here, to make it more dramatic, he actually had plans.
Yeah, he had plans. Well, he's a serious guy, so.
Who can do sex with you in a bathtub, but still.
Yeah, without breaking it.
Yeah.
Without breaking her
Because
as well.
he knows how to control his power.
Yeah. He should be very gentle in bed because I don't know what's going
Well, before that, they said in comic books that he's actually supposed to be careful and he can't have exactly sex with normal women. But after they said, this just complicates everything, so let's just.
Let's just.
Yeah.
Well, I think that it's believable because he is used to operate as a normal human being.
Yeah.
So he learned to control himself since he was a kid, and that is shown in the first movie. And he
Mhm.
did learn to control himself.
Yeah, I mean, this ain't
Yeah.
no Jessica Jones here, so,
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, because, she has superpowers and
Yeah, when
in
she
TV
has-
show when she did it with Luke Cage, who
They-
also has the same powers.
They broke the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because both of them had those powers and she knows that she can actually let them.
He let them loose. Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, you have a guy who has the powers, so.
He's also durable.
Yeah.
They're both very durable, so yeah.
And he doesn't drink coffee. In his show, when he was going to do things with him, he usually said, let's drink coffee, then they do things. And if the two of the women met together, one of them said, oh, I know, look, we had coffee together. Luke doesn't drink coffee. Which means that they know what happens if he says, let's drink coffee. You didn't watch the show, right? Anyway.
I watched the whole show.
Did you? So you didn't get the moment then.
I guess not.
I didn't watch second season. This actually really cool because shows the whole world actually respects him because they.
Now they do.
Well.
Now they do.
Some part of them, and again, typical Snyder, I think, with the bullets falling down in slow motion,
Mhm.
But actually, the real hero is here.
Yeah, so they are bearing nothing over at Metropolis.
Now, a lot of people again say here, why nobody thinks it's strange that both Superman and Quark are dead at the same time? In comic books, they explained that actually Quark was somewhere in another country covering some terrorist thingies, or so he actually
Yeah.
got shot. or
He
things
can
like that.
die all the time.
And here, yes, I think that they can say that he actually died because of how many people died because of Doomsday. So
This is his friend from his childhood.
who?
The IHOP guy. The guy that was in the IHOP. The guy that was saved in the bus in Man of
Oh yeah,
Steel.
yeah.
He's
Oh,
the
nice.
same guy.
I have to watch it again to remember the other things. Nice.
Yeah.
Look, this cabbage looks like a Bulgarian cabbage.
Yeah.
Right?
From our villages. Yeah.
And sometimes from the cities, you can see.
Mhm.
And you can see here why actually those still things that it's kind of his fault.
It is.
It is, yeah.
It is. He was manipulated and
Mhm.
this led to this.
Yeah, but that's why he actually does the Justice League after that. Which was a logical thing for both of them to gather the others.
Yeah, he has an incentive to gather the others because there's no Superman in the world.
Mhm.
So he has to do something
Yeah.
to make the world have stronger defense.
I
So
mean,
it
you
makes
can't
total
have
sense.
just Batman who usually can save one city or things like that. But and especially when you know that there are other guys who can do these things.
Yeah, so in the way that Zack Snyder did it, it just connects very well and logically that now we have a reason for Justice League.
Yeah.
Now the world is without Superman and they can actually appreciate it, appreciate him.
The sun's no flowers. Man made a world where spending his money is impossible.
Yeah, now you see that people are so flawed that they do need some kind of a protection
And
help.
other hope, yes. I mean, whatever you say, Batman doesn't ring hope when you see him, so you need actually and others who can.
Yeah, he at least has some kind of a resources to establish a structure where a Justice League or organization like Justice League is possible. You know, to bring all those heroes together and organize them. He can do this.
I was always on board when they say, Batman and Wonder Woman are going to bring them together. I said, logical. Of course, I mean, Superman is not there, so yeah.
How did you say he'll help the planet?
And he also knows that something bigger is coming or will come eventually. And this is again like one of his plans that, if I have plans for everyone, then you need to have plan for something stronger if it appears.
Yeah.
Like he actually had when he thought Superman was bad, and he knows something else will come. And Alex already knows. Because he watched the Snyder Cut. I hope that we will feel better than him when we watch the Snyder.
You mean you hope that you can see him again?
No, I mean, because we said that he looks as if he already saw it when he was watching the other things, but I hope that we feel better than him.
I mean, yeah.
Because he knows that something else is coming.
Now, how this happened?
Well, it's Batman. He usually makes arrangements with the police for things like that.
Oh, yes.
I mean, he still works with them. It's moment to bring some fear.
Just brand the guy already.
Maybe he behaves differently now that he has seen all the things.
That's not where you're going. We're make sure you get insurance from the Arkham Asylum in Gotham. Still have some friends there. You're expecting
Yeah, he's supposed to be there.
Yes.
He's a crazy person that has to be there.
He's that's from the trailer. That's exactly this.
And that's actually the moment in which actually the Batman's hunch that something else is coming is confirmed.
Yeah.
Maybe he behaves differently now that he has seen all the things.
that's not where you're going. We're make sure you get insurance from the Arkham Asylum in Gotham. Still have some friends there. You're expecting
Yeah, he's supposed to be there.
Yes.
He's a crazy person that has to be there.
He's that's from the trailer. That's exactly this.
And that's actually the moment in which actually the Batman's hunch that something else is coming is confirmed.
Yeah.
Maybe he behaves differently now that he. Yeah, did he rebuild the mansion for Justice League, or they still gathered in the same place? I don't remember.
For Justice League, it was never shown.
Because they gathered somewhere, but I think it was again in the cave.
In the cave, yeah. So she drops the, the dirt, and we can see that it's gonna lift a bit, but he's not alive. So, and he's not going to be alive if they didn't do that with the boxes. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He still has this.
I think it's some maybe residual energy, or maybe in the original cut of Justice League, the idea was for him to.
Well, we're gonna see, I guess.
Be reborn in a different way.
Maybe. Yep, that was so cool. I love that. When I watched that, in the theater, I was like, yeah, he's alive, I know it.
Yeah. He has a contract, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean that I was, removing my tears. But I was like, yes.
It was a moment that was supposed to remove your tears with the blink of.
Yeah, I felt better. I felt better when I saw that. That's what I mean.
I wonder if this was in the original idea for him to be alive in some other way, or.
Not with the boxes.
Well, originally in comic books, he's actually in a kryptonic state of like a coma or things in which Kryptonians go when they are so hurt that they're going to die. So actually they say, no, he's not dead, he's the state in which they go so that Kryptonians go so that they can recharge and recover, yes.
But they don't have powers.
Well, in that time it's like a coma, he just recovers at that time. But that's why he's with the long hair in the comic books, because he's still alive and the hair grows. He didn't have a beard.
Beautiful woman? Somebody played the beautiful woman?
Somebody played a beautiful woman, nice. And somebody played Carmen, who was apparently not Carmen's mother. Who are those people? Jail guards.
Yeah.
Inmate thugs. Jon Stewart. Huh.
Imagine if you have to play a beautiful woman,
yeah.
And a friend asks you, okay, so what are you playing in this movie? A beautiful woman.
Beautiful woman.
Okay, what about her name? No, there's just no name, just a beautiful
woman. Well, there were many beautiful women in the movie.
Lana?
Who was she? Lana? Oh.
Lana.
Maybe from the memories that she was there? Because Lana Lane, his first love before.
Yeah, and Lana in the Christopher Reeves movies was played by the actress from Smallville.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when she got the role, she was like, "Well, I played Lana already," and they're like, "What?" The creators of the show, they're like, "What?
I think also Terrence
Annetto too.
Annetto
Too. Yeah, they didn't know. So
really?
Yeah, they didn't know, and she had to tell them in the casting. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing.
I thought that they made it on purpose.
No.
Really?
It was by accident, kinda.
And after that, CW decided now we can make it on purpose. This guy who played this guy, now we can put it in the show and things like that.
Yeah, because when we put original actors in our own crap, people are gonna get very, touched inside somehow and just be easily manipulated. Actually, our thing is good, but it's crap.
Well, I was never, for example, excited when they said in Supergirl, what was his name? Dean Cain, who played Superman in Lois and Clark in the show, is going to play the father of
Kara.
Kara, yeah, and I said, okay. I mean, yeah, he played Superman once in that show. That was not a very good show, right? And I never saw him as Superman because he was kind of looking, don't know.
He was skinny, but I liked the show back in the day.
Well, back in the day,
2000 and something, and the show was actually for the 90s. But that's honest.
They stopped the Superboy show because of that.
Oh,
the
really?
Superboy show is actually good.
Oh, I saw some of that, but I was
They show it on Bulgarian TV.
Yeah.
You were how much?
I don't know.
Two?
I don't know.
You said I was two, so how did you
saw it also, but I don't
okay.
know when I saw it even. I just
They show it on
can't
TV.
say.
I don't know if they showed all the seasons, but
Oh,
we can
probably
talk about
not.
it sometime.
Probably not.
And there are only 4.
That music is also good. So
Mm.
that was it, guys. I'm gonna die from hunger now.
Yeah. Again.
So we better get to the eating part of the day. But I hope that you enjoyed this first ever watch along or watch through to BBS, and it was very interesting for us to do. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you think.
And what movie should be next?
What movie should be next? Yeah,
Or
let
we
us
can
know.
choose it.
Or we can just choose it there. So let us know, and that's it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Kisses and hugs.